Hello all and welcome back. So in today's video, we are going to implement an end-to-end data engineering project. In this project, we are going to use an e-commerce dataset, which will be shared across multiple files, as well as we will be using a SQL and a NoSQL DB, which we will be creating from scratch. If you do this project completely, then I can assure you that you will have a lot better understanding about the work of a data engineer. Plus, we have made sure that we are using some real world scenarios, not making our work easy, and using the tools which are used every day by a data engineer in the Azure workspace. So now let's get started. And if you face any issues, do make sure that you ask the same, add it into the comments, and I will make sure that I clear each and every one of them out. So now let's get started. Okay, everyone. So now let us get started with the project. I really hope you're also as excited as I am. Now, yeah, this project is going to be proper end to end, where I will be sharing lots of learning from my experience of working as a data engineer. Along with that, as I said, right, this project, okay, we are not going to do things simply in here, like it's not simple things. We will make sure that at every technology we use, I tell you a good brief about that. And also, we will be making sure that we take the cases as you can get in the industry, right? So this is not that kind of a tutorial or a project where I will just be showing you things from above and you will not get any idea. It is going to be a full-fledged introduction that how you can expect the work in the job. And you will see that once we start using the tools, right? So yeah, let us get started. And as you can see, end-to-end big data engineering project. And we will be using a e-commerce data. So why e-commerce data? Well, I actually did this similar kind of a project and the data I was using was a financial one. But again, that was a confidential data and back in Goldman. But e-commerce data is actually a very good type of data for analyzing these things. We have chosen a very good data set. It's not that easy. I would say data in KBs one, right? And along with that, there are many e-commerce companies. So if you are planning to actually uplift your career, just take this project, do it end to end, understand each and everything from scratch, which I will anyway be doing. And you can actually add this in your resume and then interview for companies like Flipkart, Amazon, everyone, right? So, yeah, now let us move forward, everyone, and let's go to the prerequisite. Coming to the prerequisite, the very first one, which I am pretty sure many of students who have earlier, I would say, learned anything from me must be aware of. Any project which I basically teach, the very first thing which I ask is the motivation to learn and complete the project, right? So many students start the project, but there are two things which are the problem. Either they will just see the video and not do anything themselves, or they will just leave the project in between thinking that what will happen and all that thing. Again, please make sure that you are patient and you complete this project. You are going to get exposed to lots of things in this project, which will be something which you can expect in your job as well, right? So once you do this, you will see that how exactly, and I'm going to show you architecture of the project through which you will know and understand better the complexity of this overall project, right? Great. So the second thing, a laptop and a notebook. Now, why specifically a laptop? Well, the reason for that is you can see this on mobile as well, but I want all of you to practice along with me and do steps. So let's say you see for 15 minutes, then I want you all to practice those steps, which I will be doing here. You will be getting the data, you will be getting all the codes, you will be getting these notes as well, rather. But the main thing which I want is that you don't just keep it once you get them. You have to make sure that you learn and implement this project properly, because that is when real learning will happen and you will feel confident, right? So when you will see me facing some error and all that thing, I can solve them, right? That is not a problem. I want all of you to face that error and solve it yourself. So please make sure that you are noting each and everything down. Again, no, nothing beats the old pen and paper thing. That's my belief, because it stays in your mind when you write things down, right? And if you have any problem, please ask the same in the comments, Q&A, or basically, please make sure that you are trying it out once yourself and see the video 2-3 times so that each and everything is clear. So next is from the tech prerequisite thing. So Python and SQL. Again, if you have done this, which majorly I think people must have done if they are in data domain, anything related to data analysis, data science, machine learning, or let's say even who work on basic data stuff, right? SQL is again the bread and butter of anyone working in data. Python, you can actually be good with the basic level understanding as well. We will be using Python in our Databricks, right? So don't worry if you don't know what that is. I'm going to cover each and everything, as I said. But yeah, if anything is there which you are not able to understand, what I will suggest is keep on seeing the video. Make sure that once that particular module is completed, right, or once you complete the video, you go back and revisit, right, the concepts which I have done. SQL, again, we will be using good advanced level concepts, because as I said, this is not somewhere the video which will give you an intro to any project. No, we will be doing it in such a way that you can showcase in your CV. And when you tell your interviewer or let's say recruiter about those projects, you will feel confident, and he or she will also know that yes, this person has done project which is properly in line, not those getting started, or I would say comedy level project where just the basics is getting discussed. Okay. So yeah, that's the one thing. Second is Azure free account. So we will be using Azure, like the technologies of Azure, which I'm going to show you. We will be using multiple technologies. The reason for that is I want to make sure that A, you get exposed to maximum technologies possible, so that via this project overall, you are comfortable in understanding and using them as you please. And the second thing is that more technology you will know, right? Better you will be able to understand and write on your CV as well that yes, these are the technologies I know, and exactly the way they are used in the industry, right? Those things will also be taken care of. So yeah, you don't have to worry on anything. I will be covering that how we have to make a free account on Azure. I have actually completely scratched like browser window, nothing like I have written or pre-made. So don't have to worry on anything. Just one thing to note here. For this, you will be requiring a account. I think if I remember right, Microsoft, so Azure is by Microsoft. They can take any other account as well, Gmail or any other, right? It's not that you should be giving a Microsoft account only, or else I will suggest to create one, right? The second thing is a credit card. Now, again, this is the point where many students might be hesitant a little. So, bro, again, don't worry anything. I will be making sure that you don't get charged enormous amount on your credit card. It just will be majorly a 2 rupee charge, because in this free credit, you get these $200. They are not going to get, I would say, cut on your credit card. And they cannot even charge you after that. So please believe in Microsoft. It's a big corporation, right? It's not going to charge you necessarily. It's a free trial version which we are going to use. And to make sure that it is a lot straightforward, I will also be using a free trial version only, so that you are aware, right? Because many students, and even when I was a student, I was always skeptical, right? What if I enter my card details and I get charged afterwards? No, that's not going to happen. I will tell you when that could happen. And majorly, if you don't do anything, if you just make an account, you are all good. You don't have to worry on anything, right? So yeah, now let's get started. And now let us go to the most important part of any project, and that is the architectural diagram. So let me just share it. Yeah, cool. So yeah, this is the very deeply and very nicely made an architecture diagram of your project. Now let me just explain you each and everything step by step, what we are going to do. Let me have a marker, yeah, and red pen. So just a minute, everyone. Let me just, yeah, I think I can see it now. Cool. So the very first thing, we will of course be starting with some data. Okay. I am getting this data from Kaggle. That is all good. But for sure, on reality, the data will be kept somewhere, right? So for that, I have chosen two sources of data. The first is an HTTP. Okay. So we will be saving some data on our GitHub. Okay. And getting the same by an HTTPS request. Pretty straightforward. I will show you how that will happen. You can also read the data directly from my repository only, so you don't have to worry on anything. So that's the first source. But again, what happens in the industry is that majorly you will be connecting to some sophisticated data source, right? Your data will not be lying on GitHub or anywhere, and it will majorly be on some database, right? So I have also included a SQL table or SQL database. Now, the best part here, I will be showing you a website on which you can host your database for free. You can upload the data. It will be like any other database. You can actually make a SQL and a no SQL DB. So both we will be doing, and you will get a very good exposure that, okay, how you can make those database. And if you are practicing on anything, be it SQL, be it anything related to data, just upload your data and use it on the cloud. So that's another very good thing which you will get once you complete this project. In the mid, I will make sure that I explain you how you can basically upload the data, how exactly you have to manage your database and all that thing, and all the credential and stuff. So it's a very good website which I have found, and it's completely free. And for that matter, anything, like I think just 2 rupees charge for the trial. Unfortunately, sorry for that. For the Azure account is something which you will be paying. Apart from that, each and everything is completely free in this full course, which I will be using, right? And that 2 rupees also, if I remember right, that gets credited back to your account after some time. Okay. So yeah, that will be the whole charge along with your precious time, which we will be using in this project. So let's move forward. Once we have the data, right? Once we have the data in different sources, we will be sure ingesting that data. So the data will get ingested. Let me change the pen color. Yeah. And it will go via Azure Factory. We will be moving it into a data lake solution. So let me just give you a little brief. I will be explaining each and every of these icons which you see in complete, I would say, in a very easy way and complete depth. But two things to note here. First, this architecture diagram is very important, right? It may happen that you might not be directly involved if you are a fresher or let's say up till 2 years of experience. You might not be directly involved in making this diagram, but you will be getting something like this. And majorly, whenever we start any project, we should have this created, right? To give you a better idea that how this is going to happen, coming to my story, like I made sure that I fought and got myself including in the calls where this kind of a things were getting basically discussed with my seniors and I would say staff engineers, because that is a very good overall exposure and understanding that why are we using the particular technology for the time being. Again, we have multiple things, we have multiple technologies through which the same thing can be done, and this is just one of the way which I have made. In each of my class, every time I teach, I make sure that you understand the basics, right? So I don't expect that you just master ADLS Gen2 lake. Okay, so as a data lake, you should just understand the whole process, so that if tomorrow I say that, hey, you might have to use AWS S3 here, you are all ready, right? Because you are not just limited by some technology, and that is the kind of way I will be teaching. Plus, please make sure that you understand things with this mindset. Okay, so let us now move forward in our diagram. One second. Yeah. So Azure Data Factory is a tool which help us to extract data from multiple sources, and then we can choose if we want to save it somewhere. We can do some minor transformations on them as well. Again, if this is not making sense, I will be showing you each and everything. We will be making these resources ourselves on Azure. Okay. Then once we have the data, okay, we will be sending that data to a data lake. Here we are using ADLS Gen2. Once you have sent this raw data, okay, so just the data which we received. So raw data is basically data on which you have not done anything. Okay. You will be sending this data, you will be working on this data, and then this is actually very important stuff. So let me highlight this by red color somehow. Okay, and I think I made another thing. Yeah. So this thing is very important, which you see here, right? I can maybe have some arrows here. So Databricks is a very awesome technology which many companies are using nowadays. So we will be working on our data via Databricks. The source of our data is going to be data lake. The destination is also going to be data lake, but we will be working on the data to transform it. Okay. So what do we mean by transform? To make sure that we can get some insights, change the data the way it is, maybe have the proper data in a, I would say in a little bit better format, messaging the data to, make sure that it's not messy, something which we can use on it. So we will be sending the data and reading the data from data lake. Now again, this will get a lot more clear. Then this transform data we will be reading via Azure Synapse. So it's again another technology, again a very awesome technology. you can actually do all the things in Synapse overall. Okay, so all this thing which I'm telling you here, you can still write the Spark code, but again, we'll be talking about that. But yes, we will be using them separately so that you have exposure to maximum of these technologies. And once this data is there, we are going to basically create external tables after some work and everything. And then those tables you can actually use or see on any visualization tool of your choice as well. Okay. So one more thing to note here, I will be following a Medallion architecture. It's a very common and an awesome architecture. So again, many people might have this doubt that, okay, what is this architecture coming into picture? See, what happened is that because all over the industry, we are trying to solve very common problems. There are some very sophisticated architecture which have come into picture. Okay, the same is getting followed in software development as well, and data engineering is actually a subpart or a stream of software engineering only. So Medallion architecture in a similar way is one of those architecture or one of the proven way through which we can make our project a lot more better, right? To make sure that you understand it in an intuitive way. Normally what happens when we eat, right? We can actually start with desserts, then maybe we can do main course and then snacks. But snacks, then main course, then dessert is something which we have seen that, okay, it works all over the world. People are doing it in this way. So anyone can argue that everyone, like you are just eating only, right? It's the matter, like what is the order and stuff. But well, it can matter, it can give you better results, and normally it is easy to follow as well, so that your chef and people know that, okay, first they have to work on snacks, then the main course, and then the dessert, instead of all over the place, right? In a similar way, this Meddallion architecture, the one through which we will be doing our project, and again, I have made sure that I use this because it is used in industry as well. So when you give an interview, if you will be able to explain this project and tell that, hey, I have used Meddallion architecture because it is used a lot and all that thing, it is going to be a lot helpful. I'm not going to deep dive into that as of now. We will see, like later in the project, when the time is right, I'm going to explain by showing you each and everything. Okay. In middle, we will also see and learn many things about Azure, how to connect different services, the the protocols, and then some access and all these things we will also discuss, right? Here, I will be using some other tool. So Power BI and Tableau, I think is available. Power BI is not available in Mac, but if you have Power BI installed, many companies use that. You can just get that data, the Synapse data, via directly using Power BI as well once we make external tables for that. Okay. So yeah, this is the whole architecture, everyone. We are going to start with the raw data. Okay. And load it, ingest it to data lake, then work on transforming this data, then read the data and maybe we can work on Synapse, then make some external tables and that we will expose. So that will be the final serving layer through which our data scientists, data analysts, all these people, or maybe let's say the management people, they can just read from that particular source and they will get all the understanding and let's say any information which they want. So this is going to be our full project. One thing I forgot, so that is very, very important as well, which is that we will be also reading from a NoSQL DB inside our Databricks, right? So again, this is just to make sure that you have the complexity increased. Whenever you are working on transforming your data, or I would say majorly, you have to enrich your data or you have to get some information from outside. Like that is something which I did a lot in my projects. So because see, you have some data, you will be getting some information and enriching and transforming your data, right? So for that, I have chosen MongoDB. Again, this is majorly to make sure that this is in a way, I would say increasing the complexity, making it more closer to real time. So if you see, you will be using a HTTP request to get the data, a SQL table, a NoSQL database as well. Then you are using so many technologies. And finally, you will be making a serving layer. So what's the work of a data engineer? It's this only, right? So to make sure that he can get the raw data and finally provide you with the overall uh, serving layer or a data which is good to use by other teams and everyone. Okay. So yeah, I hope that it is now a lot clear. So now let us go to our Azure and start with the creation of the account. Okay. So great, everyone. Now let's move forward and let's create our free Azure account. So let me open a incognito browser. So this is incognito window, right? So that we can be sure that nothing is logged in. Let's go to Azure. So you can go to this Azure Microsoft Okay, like normally just search Azure on Google, and we are on Microsoft Azure offering. So see, we can just select this get started with Azure or explore Azure AI, right? We want to make sure that we are using Azure totally as a platform. So let's get started with Azure. And now there are two modes, try Azure for free and pay as you go. So I will just explain on it a little bit, right? So 1 second, yeah. See, Azure, what it does, like any cloud provider, it basically gives you two modes, right? The first one is going to be free account. Many services are there in free account which you can use, though major services and the one which we are going to use that will be available in the paid account or in the free account with credits, right? So you will be getting credits of $200 that will be valid for 1 month, and there is a pay as you go. Now, this is where you will be charged, right? So one thing to notice, because even I face this confusion always, right? You will not be charged by default. So it will be asking you for a credit card, like once we move forward now, but your account will be under free account and it will not be moved to pay as you go unless you give that permission. And still, till 1 month, your 200 credits, which again are a lot, this project will surely be done comfortably in those credits if you do that. And in pay as you go, you get charged based on how much you are using. But again, you don't have to worry on that. Microsoft is not going to automatically charge you. And you have to just make sure that you follow the steps which I'm going to do. I will also be using a free account only so that no worries or nothing are there, right? Great. So as you can see, we are going to use a free account provided. So we need email ID and a credit card. Now, as I mentioned earlier, only 2 rupees will be charged, no auto pay, nothing. So let us now go back, everyone. You have to click on this try Azure for free, right? This is what you have to click. Now let me just maybe like underline it. Try Azure for free. Okay, great. So pay attention now. Here we can just have our ID. So let's say I'm using one of my ID which I have majorly for normal like this purposes only. So it is asking for a code. Great. So let me just log in via code. 1 minute. I must have received the code. Okay, so 039. Okay, it's wrong somehow. Okay, I misspelled 2 words. 59609. Great. So we can stay signed in, should be fine. And now we are actually at the next step where it will be asking us for the details, right? So we have to fill in some details. Let it load once. Yeah, cool. So you can see country or region, first name Mayank, then Agarwal, email ID. You have to enter your phone number and get yourself verified. So you can just do text me and you will get a code from Microsoft again on your number, or call me. So again, that is also required. Then company name, you can enter any honestly, but yeah, will be good if you can use your company name. Not an issue. PAN ID also is optional, so don't provide that. And then address line. So maybe you can just use, let's say, if you're in Bangalore, then you can just enter Bangalore, Karnataka, and some state and pin code. So it's not a problem. You can just click this agree to subscription agreement and offer details. I think this you can avoid, right? Okay, so these are the small dark patterns to avoid. And these are the major things. So popular services free for 12 months, right? So many services are there which are free for 12 months. 55 plus services always free. So again, Azure gives you many services which are free, but we are going to use the service that require some basically credits or money, right? And 13,300 credits to use in first 30 days. So what is that? 200 USD, 16,000. I think that's hard coded or something, but anyways, it will be 16,000 something, which I got. This again is very important. So just focus on this, everyone. This says that no automatic payments, right? So no automatic payments. After your credit is over, we will ask if you want to continue with pay as you go. If you do, you will be paid if you use more than free amount of services, right? So this is again very important, and I assure you this should be all which by which you can create this account. I understand many students who might be watching, they might have this concern, but believe me on this, you will not be charged, right? It will be asking you, okay, and if you use, or if you say that, okay, move me to pay as you go, then only you will be charged. But again, we will not be doing that. But automatic charges will not be there, no matter what overall, I would say, mode you or what overall service you use. Once, let's say, this 1 month, like this first 30 days gets over, right? What will happen then? Your services will just come to a halt. Okay, so that is what's going to happen. So yeah, you can just fill in this once you do agree and you do sign up. Then it will be asking you for your credit card, doing just a small payment of 2 rupees, right? And I think that is also refunded, so you don't have to worry on that, and you will be good to use your account, right? So great. Now let me just close this window. Let me close this. Let me close this. And what we have to do now, everyone? So we can now go to Azure, Microsoft Azure, and just do sign in. So you can just sign in with your ID and password again. I will have this already signed in, as you can see. Once you sign in, this is the window which you will see. I have some credits used, so you can see this. See, subscription free trial has remaining credit of this. Upgrade to pay as you go subscription. Don't do that, right? So great. Now let me explain you a few things for, especially for freshers or someone who has never done this. Right? See, till now, again, you must have made some projects in development. Maybe you must have used machine learning and stuff, right? It's all good. You can do everything in your local. That is not a problem. But why are we using cloud? I want to just explain a little bit on that. Cloud, I feel that now it is not a very new technology, but still, if someone is there who is just starting their journey, it's very important to get that clear. You can just think of cloud as something which can again be used from anywhere. We are not putting up some wire into the cloud. Like, I hope that is clear. I think that was the doubt around 2012 or 14, which students used to have. But again, the idea, the whole understanding is that this is something which you can access from anywhere, right? So it is not related or limited to some local storage, right? Again, Microsoft is handling all this. Similarly, in AWS and GCP, Amazon and Google respectively handle this thing, where they have made data servers, okay, so data centers. In a very easy way, they have many machines which they are putting it into a single place. Let me show you that as well. So let us open and data centers. Okay. And if you will go on images here, you will see many machines. Like, so this is actually where your cloud lives, honestly, right? They can be underwater as well. So Microsoft, I think in some years back, tested out one which is underwater for cooling purposes and stuff. Now, uh, just to give you a little bit more idea, companies can have this for their own as well. Like, you can actually also have a room where you can fill it with so many laptops. You can handle each and everything, like the electricity, the cooling mechanism, making sure you install an operating system in each and every one of them. Or you can just use a service which is provided by one of the famous cloud providers. There is IBM Cloud as well. There is Azure, AWS, and your GCP. All these are there. The basic funda is same, that they are providing you service and they will be going to charge you for that. Because in here, once you have logged in, you can now create multiple things. And I'm going to explain a little bit more on what exactly is there in Azure so that you get a little bit more clarity. Okay. But yeah, that's the basic idea behind your cloud, right? Now, in a similar manner, we have now created an account on one of the common Azure, which is a cloud offering by Microsoft. And now we will be using services which are there in your this Azure. So let us move forward. This is the Azure account structure, right? So let's see what exactly this is. The first is the management groups, right? So we start with the management group. Now, under management group, there are subscriptions. So to explain you this in a very easy manner, management group, you can think that it is, let's say, a principal of a school, right? So that is the major thing, like, which is handling everything. Now, subscriptions can be for different classes, right? And under each and every class, we have resource groups. Okay. So just to explain you this, like, see, management group is your principal, right? So let me just mark it as well, so it is clear. Management group is like your principal, right? So top to, like, to the top tier, she is sitting. Okay, let's say multiple classrooms are there. So this will be seeing all the classrooms, right? So it makes sure that it is setting your rules and managing every big stuff. That is majorly will be done by some admin or someone in your company, if you go, we will also not be like doing anything here. It is already majorly set. In a business example, let's say if you're running a business, you have a management group, right? And for different, basically we can have a one management group for different departments like sales, marketing, IT, all these things. Now next comes subscriptions. Okay. So what happens in a subscription? Let's say in each classroom, it will be in a way, I would say using a subscription, right? So each subscription now can have its own resource groups, and then under it we can have resources. So resources are going to be the final thing which we use, but that needs to be under a resource group, and that needs to be under a subscription. Okay. So in a very easy example, let's say your company, you can have a one subscription for your website, one for your application like the mobile app. Okay. Under website you can have these resource groups. Okay, let's say this is handling the customer part of your website. Okay, this is handling the seller part of your website. Why is it created? I think many of you might be able to understand, so that to keep things separated inside Azure cloud as a whole. Okay, so what is happening in our case? In our case, subscription is free trial. So this is a free trial subscription which we are using, right? You can go to subscriptions here, and you see we can add it here. Not really sure if it is allowed in free account or not, but again, you have to just use this free trial, right? Then let us go to home back. And now under this, we can create a resource group, right? So let us create a resource group. That should be helpful. Free trial. So we can have the resource group name as, let's say, ecom life. Okay. And we can select Central India. So there will be Central India. Let me explain what this is as well. So data centers, Azure. So yeah, see this diagram. What exactly is happening here? These are all the data centers which are uh, which Microsoft has created. Okay. Now, since I am sitting in India and I'm doing this particular project, what is happening is that I can choose my resource group anywhere out of these data centers, right? Some of them may be restricted, but I hope you get the picture. I am selecting Central India because it is nearer to me. So the ping, right? When we connect to this, that will be good. And like if you have to understand in Azure, Central India normally has most of the service, right? So there are a few things like availability zones and all these things which are present in Central India, right? Few services might be there which are not in certain region or things, but yes, let's not go a lot deep into that. That is something separate which we can understand. But for the timing, Central India is a good zone where you get most of the services. You will be getting all the resources, and it is having good backup and other facilities. Okay. So let me close this. Let me close this. And now we are selecting this. Now we can do next tags. Tags you can just mention so that it is easier to get afterwards. Like just we have tags in many your notes app or somewhere, right? So we can just leave it empty. Next, review and create. So it's saying validation is passed, right? And we can now create this. Okay, so it's getting created. Now you will see that, okay, this resource group is created. Now we can go to this resource group. So now, like when I showed you this diagram, right? These are going to be the resources. So this Azure Data Factory, a data lake, Databricks, all these are resources which I am now going to create under this resource group ecom life. Okay, let us move forward. Let me close this. So till now, we have just created our resource group under which we can now, you can see we can create different resources, right? So we are going to just come afterwards. No worries. Let us go back to the Azure home. Okay, great. So yeah, till now I'm pretty sure that you must be able to do each and everything. Again, please make sure that you do this thing, right? So this is the whole account structure of Azure, right? We have created a resource group, which is ecom live. Let me fill it in here. We are using a free trial. Okay. We are creating one resource group, which is e-commerce live, right? Great. Now, what we have to do next, let's now see our data. Okay. So for this, go to Google. I have just Olist and your Kaggle. So Olist is a Brazilian e-commerce website. This is some data which was on Kaggle for a competition. I will tell you why I have chosen this particular data set, right? Okay, dark mode is there, should be fine. Great. So pay attention everyone. Brazilian e-commerce public dataset by Olist. 1 lakh orders with product, customer and review info. Now you don't have to do anything here, right? What you have to do, you have to understand a little bit. You can just read about this. Will be pretty straightforward. We have customers data, we have products data and all these things. And we have the data schema here as well, right? So this is the data schema. You will see that these all data sets are provided. Okay. Olist order payments data set, products data set, and they are connected to each other via some key. Okay. So for example, order ID, order ID, order ID. For Olist order customer data set, again, we have customer ID, which connects them. So you can see that this data is not very easy, right? We have multiple data sets here. So this is very analogous to a problem which you can get into real life as well, right? I could have just maybe made a data like should have been easy that way. But I want to make sure that in this project, you are getting the taste of how your projects will be when you actually attempt them in a job, right? Great. Let us move forward. What we can do. Yeah. So you can just read about this. This will just explain you all about the data. And now you will see that the data also, like it is having like good size, like 9 MB. Then many records are there. So you can see this is 15 MB, right? Geolocation data set, all these things. And finally, this is the data set like which we will be working on. Let me just get rid of this diagram. And yeah. So yeah, I think data is pretty straightforward. It is not data is difficult. Difficult in terms of understanding because I think now we all know like how e-commerce works in a way, right? So order ID, customer ID, order status, whether it had been delivered, shipped, order purchase, order approved date, all these things are there, right? So now let me just show you one more thing. One good thing is that once you complete this project, you can also come back to Kaggle and make sure that you test your data science skill as well, right? Data science and ML skills here as well. You will see so many notebooks which you can refer to as well. And as I said, the data is not very easy to understand. It is like you can see that, right? It is having a lots of files here, and they are having good amount of records and memory space. Okay, great. So let us move forward, everyone. Now this data, what you can do is you can either download it from here and store it, right? So, but what I have done, let me show you. Let me go to GitHub. 1 minute. GitHub Mayank 953. Yeah. So this is my GitHub, everyone. I will share all the links. Let me actually do one thing. I have opened a. This is a Sublime normal. Okay. So here I'm going to make sure that we save everything, right? Olist Kaggle. Enough. So yeah. This will just make sure that you have all the links supported here, so you can refer to them, right? Great. Cool. Now here, if you will go to my repositories, then big data projects. In here, you will see Brazilian e-commerce and just data is there. What I'm going to do, everything, every code which I'm going to write, even these notes as well, which we are basically writing, I will share each and everything on this particular repository. So feel free to come here, then refer to the codes and everything. And we will be coming and using some, I would say, secrets and I would say keys as well. Don't just use that. You will have to use your keys that I will tell you. Okay. And one more thing. Yeah. So you can just come to this particular repository, big data projects. Make sure that you can. So I will be uploading many projects here in future. So make sure that you star and fork the repository or watch it as you like. That will also be a lot motivating for me. So having stars on your repositories, it is good to see. I have all these data here now. What you can do is, let's say one of the data, we can actually go on this data and I can see this using raw. Okay. So I've uploaded each and every data here and you can see that this data is accessible. Now again, because this is a little bit real level data, right? We will not be able to see everything. Let me just, let's say, open Olist product dataset. Let us view it raw. Okay, so it is not show because it is a little big file, but yes, you are able to see this. And you can see that they are CSV, right? So they are CSV file. See, 1 minute. Okay, 1 minute, just a second, everyone. Yeah, so this happens sometimes, should be fine. They are all CSV files, which is comma separated values, right? So just input way through which we get this. So I'm going to make sure that we read the files from this location from my GitHub. Okay. But, but what exactly I have done to make sure that it is not that straightforward, you will see we have HTTP for many files, and we will also be seeing how we can read the files in a very smart way. Okay, so all that we will come once we start with Azure Data Factory, once we go to Azure. But see, we have to also create a SQL table, right? For that, okay, so till now, just to quickly revise what all we have done, we have understood the overall architecture of the project, which we will be going a lot deep down. Second, we have created an Azure account, okay, and we have created a resource group. Third, we have understood how the data looks like, where the data is coming from, like majorly the data we have picked up from there. Fourth, we have uploaded that data to one of our sources so that we can read it from here, right? That is my GitHub, where I have shown you that when you view the data as raw, so when you view the data as raw, this is actually HTTPS source from which you can read this data, okay? And because in the architectural diagram, I want to make sure that, this data set is not very, very straightforward. We have this SQL table. One of the table we will be reading via SQL. Now, why am I doing it? Because I want to make sure that you are comfortable in that as well. Many students, they face this problem, like if let's say one of the data is coming from somewhere else, then they would be like, okay, how are we going to handle this and everything? So you are going to create your own SQL table here, right? I'm going to just open that platform as well. And you will make sure that each and everything you are able to handle and read the data from there. Plus, it's a very good platform. So next time when you practice SQLs, just uh, load any table there and work on that. Okay. So good. Now let us go to files. So this is the platform, files.io, I think. Let me just open it. Files.io. Okay. See, so 100% free database hosting forever. It took me time to find this, honestly. Data DB AAS. We offer plan-based database service for developers, 99% availability, great ratings, and a good shootout to this, like their creator as well. So let me save this as well. And now you will see that it is used by thousands, and there are many there. So there are regions like where the server is present, similar mindset, and they have the pricing. So see, 0, 10 MB per dataset, 2 databases, 1 automatic backup per week, unlimited traffic, right? So this is already present there. So you don't have to worry that you will not be charged, and it doesn't even require a credit card or anything. Okay. Great. So let us sign up here as well, everyone. Sign up. Mayank. Gurwal. This is also an email ID. If anyone has any doubts related to anything we do in this project, just comment under this video, or you can mail me here as well. I'm going to use a new email ID altogether. 1 minute. So Mayank 0953. Okay, I think it was 2 zeros. And Outlook. So I'm going to use the same ID for which I'm using Azure, right? And let me enter any password. Register. Okay, so it's saying that it must have sent some email ID. So it's just saying files.io. I have just received a mail, everyone, and I can verify it. Okay. Again, don't try to use mine. I will be deleting that once this gets completed. Okay. And I think now we can just use this. Great. So yeah, we are inside this, everyone. Now you can see standard databases, dedicated databases, standard vs dedicated. We just have to use this, right? So again, I will just explain a little what we are trying to do here, right? Let me do one thing. Yeah. So pay attention what we are trying to do. I am asking that, hey, we are going to make it a lot like it can be in an industry. And for that, you will for sure be reading data from some table, right? It can be a SQL table or a NoSQL table. And in some way, it can be any place. But I want to make sure that I explain you few ways through which you can read the data. And one is something which we are using HTTP. Now, for a SQL or a NoSQL DB, either someone can directly provide you with some credentials and stuff, right? So in a similar manner, just I have found that this particular, like I would say website, sorry, this particular, yeah, website, files.io, it is giving me or giving us, right, a way through which you can create these DBs. Okay, you can create these DBs. I'm going to create a DB and I'm going to read data from this into my Azure. Before I can read data again, you will have to make sure that you send the data as well. So we will be sending our data into this DB. If you have not done the same, no worries. I'm going to show you and give you the code and you will get a overall idea that how you can read this data and then read it somewhere else. Okay, so sorry, first write the data and read it somewhere else. So for that, what we have to do, pay attention. We are going to create a new database. Okay, database, you can select a simple MySQL one. I think anyone works, should be fine. Database, we can just do Olist project. Okay, alphanumeric, so Olist project, right? Don't change anything. I think it's fine. Character set and collate should be fine. We cannot also select the server. That should also be like fine. We can just create it. And we will have the database Olist created successfully. What I also want you all to do, just go back, create a MongoDB database as well. So you could have used a MongoDB as well, like where the MongoDB website, right? So it also gives you a free tier, but I just want to use this because majorly companies have their own, I would say, own database only where they do that. So here you can select Mongo and Olist data NoSQL, right? This works and you can create it. So you have now created two databases, okay? One SQL, one NoSQL to give you a very good idea about things. Now you can, like we need two only, I don't think it can create more. We can now go inside this. So this is our SQL DB everyone. Let's go inside this. And the best part is that you can access it. See, all these things are provided here. MySQL URI, MySQL login command, your host, your database, your user, your port, password, everything is provided here, right? And web client is also there. So in the web client, if you go, now these are basically, I would say, the email, like the positions or things which you will require if you want to access data stored inside this DB, right? So you can see the web client is there, the code is there. Okay, you can delete this as well. Now size, it is giving you 10 MB, which believe me, it's more than enough for anything if you want to learn SQL, right? Now, Olist data, let us see, there's a add new connection. You can create a new table as well, right? So it's going to give you new table. The idea is that everything is supported. Okay, so see, that's the very good thing. And you are getting that overall exposure yourself, right? So we have created a database, a SQL database, in which now we have to send the data. Okay, so just to show you back towards the architecture, because that is very important when we do any project in a real life as well. Till now, what we said that, hey, I have this data. I was having this data on Kaggle. From Kaggle, I have just have everything now in my GitHub. So because I want to read from there, reading from Kaggle is, I think, not possible. I don't want to do that even. To make sure that the complexity is increased, we are using a SQL DB as well. Now, many students, if you are feeling that, hey, what is happening or anything, just try to follow the steps. And believe me, you will be, when you do this, you will have a lots of confidence, right? So this is not some easy stuff we are doing again. I understand, because someone will just on the, like I would say, web, on YouTube, maybe you will find some projects where just we are reading from GitHub, or we are reading or directly uploading the files. But why we should do that? We should just have a real exposure, right? We have ourselves created a new DB here. And now one of the CSV we are going to send into this DB, and then we will read it like this. and all this data, we are going to read it like this. Okay. So great. Pretty sure that this is getting clear. GitHub, we have already uploaded this. We can see here, right? And the next thing is we are now going to upload few things into this Olist project, MySQL DB. And again, like MongoDB as well, which is a NoSQL DB. So there's a difference between SQL. You can have the data in tables. Okay. NoSQL, you don't have tables, you have collections. The basic funda or the idea is that in SQL, you have a table structure which is well defined, right? You can have 4 columns. So you have to define or leave that nil or none, right? Leave that empty basically. In a NoSQL, and that is a very high level difference, of course, right? In a NoSQL, you can, let's say, send JSON where can have field as you like. There is no structure overall to that. And you have a ID majorly through which you can just directly get your value. Okay. Great. So let me do one thing then, everyone. Let us and see one more thing which I want to show you. Here is the code through which you can connect to this database. See, that's the best part I like about this particular platform, that you have everything. So no need to copy or anything, right? And let me close this. Great. Now for the next part, let us go to Collab. Collab. So here we can create a new notebook. What I want to do here, everyone, I want to make sure that you are able to now send the data from your Python, and you can use any Python script here as well. And this is also something which comes into data engineer domain, right? The data is getting generated, how you have to store it into a DB. So that's some prerequisite which you are doing here. And we can just maybe say print hello to make sure that this, so it's going to connect to and get some resources. So I will tell you what exactly, meanwhile it gets loaded, what exactly are we going to do. We will take one of the CSVs. Okay, so one of the CSVs we are going to take, and we are going to send it via code into our database, the one which we have created. The CSV which we are going to take is Olist, okay, and Olist order payment dataset database. I think there is one present, so let me show you that as well. If we go here and big data, Olist order payment dataset. So this is what we are going to use, everyone. Let me show you this raw. Okay, I think it's here. Let me clear it. So this is the CSV which we are going to send to our SQL database. What I can do is I can download it from here. Okay, so you can do the same thing, download raw file. Again, showing you everything from scratch. Again, is it difficult? Not really. For the first time student, maybe. Is it worth it? Yes, because again, if you do a simple project, you will not get a job, or you will not be able to, I would say, differentiate yourself from the crowd, right? So yeah, great. We have this. Now what you can do here, you can go to file. We can just, this is the sample data, no worries. We can just drag and drop it here. Okay. Ensure that your files are saved somewhere. Okay, no worries. So we have now just save this file. It is getting uploaded. So it has actually got some resources you will see here. Okay, system, RAM, and disk. This again is very simple. As of now, we have not started anything out of cloud or anything. We have just the Google Colab. It's again as much like your, I would say this thing now. It is like your Jupyter notebook only, where you can write some code. Okay. So let me now copy the code from which you can just basically make sure that you can send the data. Great. So let us first rename it. That would be good. Data ingestion to SQL, right? We have already uploaded the data set. You can either drag and drop it, or you can just go and basically upload it from here. So now let us first check that are we able to connect to our database, right? So I showed you that yes, this is a database on cloud you can use. What we are going to do is we have this code here, right? So see, status is up. This is MySQL. These are all the things. Now you can also copy it and again generate the code yourself. The good part which I like about this platform, it has the codes, right? All the codes are present here. So we can just go to Python, copy this code, and then go here. Okay. So again, the very good thing is that everything is on cloud. Like, see, this is cloud as well, your Jupyter notebook. So you don't have to install anything, or your like laptop can be any laptop, normal one. Similarly, this I also created a SQL DB on cloud, so you don't have to worry. You can just connect to it from anywhere, right? And Azure is totally on cloud. So very analogous to how you can get it in your company. Even if you're a service-based company, connect to the client DB. Okay, give me all these things or the connection string, and I will connect to my client DB. In this project or in my video, okay, please make sure that you understand the basic side. We are creating some placeholders or some DBs, databases for our project where the data is residing. Now, again, it can be any other website as well. Tomorrow data can be on some AWS SQL server. You just need to connect to it. That is your whole aim, right? Great. So let me run it. I think it's going to give an error. Yeah. So it's going to give an error. No module name MySQL. So Python, you must have done a lot. I'm pretty sure of that. What we have to do here, pip install MySQL. What is the exact name? Let me quickly remember it. Pip install. I think it's MySQL connector Python. And let us run this. So the error says that, hey, you want to use this MySQL, but I don't know. Similar, like let's say if you want to use pandas, but you don't know what pandas is, then it's a problem, right? Now let me run this again, because now we are importing this and seems like we are able to connect. Okay, so see, connected to MySQL server version this, you are connected to database this, okay, and MySQL connection is closed. So we are closing our connection as well. So yeah, that's a very good thing. Now what we have to do, everyone, pay attention. So first thing, import pandas as PD and order underscore payments equals PD dot read CSV. And Olist, is it going to refill? Okay. Let me rename file and copy it. So I just want to show you that, yeah, we are able to read this normally. So this is all just a very simple, or I would say straightforward code for Python, right? Payments dot head. Okay. So I'm just reading it as a panda CSV, and we are able to see that we are able to read it. Now we can again play and see the visualization and stuff. Don't not read it here. The main aim of this particular script is going to be that you can send the data, okay, send this CSV data into your DB. Okay, and we have seen why we are doing it, to make our project very close to normal. Now, since this is a part of majorly your Python part, okay, and this code is pretty straightforward, I have already written it. So let me copy this. Okay, I'm going to explain, don't worry. Let's see. Very straightforward code. Let us understand it line by line. It is well commented as well, and you will be getting this code properly. Okay, see, import pandas as PD, import MySQL connector, from MySQL connector import error, right? So just I have copied this code. I will be giving each and everything on my GitHub, so don't worry on anything. These are all the connection strings, right? Please make sure that you change this into yours. As I said, I will be deleting mine once this project gets completed. CSV file path. So our path is there only. If you want, you can have it under sample data. Then please write this sample data here. Okay, great. Table name is Olist order payment. So I'm going to create a table to my SQL, right? This is the name through which I'm going to create it. Step 1, establish a connection to MySQL server. So first we are trying to establish a connection to make sure that yes, some uh, database is there. Because if no database is there, where are you going to send the data, right? So again, these are the best strategy or best way to write the code. Once the connection is there, okay, then we are creating a cursor to, like, basically now we have to make sure that we are able to execute our SQL queries there. Again, if anyone has not done this ever, you can just run this code for the time being, because now you understand the way you understand what you are doing. Don't stop. Okay, don't be like you, if you don't know this, you are not doing the project, you are running. No, don't do this. This is very straightforward thing to do. Once you complete this project, then maybe you can go and revisit that, okay, what I was talking about. Okay, I have the code and everything explained, I think, on my YouTube channel as well. You can just go there as well, right? Great. So cursor connection dot cursor, cursor dot execute drop table if exist. So we are checking first if the table is already there, and we are dropping it. Okay, so what exactly will happen here? See, let's go to web client. It's going to check if some table is available. Okay, if going to check if some table is available here, right? If yes, if the same table is available, it's going to get deleted. We are going to create a new table. You will see order ID, payment, payment type, installment, and value. Order ID, payment sequential, payment type, payment installment, payment value. And it's some 5 MBs of data. And I think on server, it's going to take a little bit more space. We will see that. Pretty sure it should be under 10 MB only. So if you remember, right? Because it's free one and we have just have 10 MB. The good thing, it's always up. It takes your backup and it's a very awesome way to actually do your DB related things. Now, once we have connected, we are going to create the table. Then, because once table is created, we are going to read this data. So pd.read CSV file path. And I'm going to insert data in batches of 1000. Now, why am I doing this? Okay. For people who know, just try to insert this without any, without these batch. Okay. Just try to insert whole data at once and let me know how much time it takes, right? I am trying to insert it in batches because if we see, I think the overall size will be a lot. Order payments dot shape. Let me run it. Because you're not dealing with some dummy data here, right? See, there are 100K records. So a lot of them. Okay, so I will be just installing. So this is just a loop for start range, 0, total records and batch size. It's going to take the batch size, create a overall batch for that, and then insert them in that way. Okay, create an insert query, execute, and it's going to finally say that, okay, all records has been inserted. If we face an error, so this is the error handling. Now, if you don't know error handling in Python, I have a video on my channel as well. Except error as E, it is going to give me the error out. If everything gets done, or even if you face the error, this is going to get closed. So even let's say I face an error between this, I should make sure that my connection is closed. It is not open. Okay. Great. So pretty sure that this code is now clear, everyone. I'm going to now run it. Okay, let us run this. And let's hope everything works fine. So table dropped. Okay. CSV table, this is okay. Starting data insertion, and it seems like we face an error. Okay, it's giving no space left on device. Okay, strange. Let us check this. Are we able to create the table? Yes. So it's saying that it inserted some rows, I think. Let us go back here and how much space we have taken. Let us refresh once. Okay, strange. It has just taken 0.02 MB. Let us run this again once and check why are we facing this error. Okay, so let us check this quickly. So it's saying that some in temporary. Okay, so yeah, I think it's taking up some space. Let us just reduce the batch size. So where is it? Yeah, let us use 500 maybe as a batch size. So what happened is that because we are introducing it, like in temp, sometime happen that space is getting used up. And since we are on the free tier, again, this is not a lot, I would say, optimized. Let us once try with 500 as a batch size. So now we are going to increase, just insert rows in 500, right? And you can see this thing, right? These are the type of error which you will face when you do an actual project, right? Let us run this and hope it works. Okay, yeah, see, okay, let's hope this completes. So it is now increasing in the batch of 500, everyone. You can see it. Okay, table is inserted. It dropped the previously one created table. And now it is doing this. So now you know if you face this error ever when you're trying to insert the data, just changing the batch size may be helpful. Okay, great. Let's hope that it completes first. Let's not hurry up. So yeah, I hope you're able to follow properly. We have created a table, a database, and the good thing, we are the one inserting data there only. Okay, let's say this data we were receiving from somewhere else. Some other team or some client was giving us this data. Now you know how you can also send this data to your database. Okay. So as I said, we will be keeping it a lot more complicated but easy to understand. So now we have the GitHub data and we have the SQL table as well created. Let's hope it completes. So let us go back. It is including, and yeah, so all 103 are recorded, records are inserted and the SQL connection is now closed. If we go and see here, let us refresh it. Refresh. Let me just refresh altogether. This should be done. 10 MB size is fine. I think that should not be a problem. Okay, let me just close this. Let me refresh it. And it's good that we are facing these issues. No one can be a good developer or a data engineer if you don't know how to solve the errors, right? And in the easy, I would say executions, you will see that many people just take many things. We're like, these are not the errors which you will see them facing, right? So see, our data is there. It is just showing 1500 rows, maybe that much are loaded, but we know that, okay, all the data is inserted, right? So we don't have to worry on that. Like it will also refresh in a bit. We don't have to take any tension, but we have the data here, right? So cool. I think this is all done. Now, when we will come back towards this part, Databricks, we will also insert data into our MongoDB. So if you remember, right, we created two DBs to give you the taste of SQL and NoSQL database. So we have this MongoDB as well. Again, we can connect to it and send it, but let's do it once we go to our Databricks, okay, where we will be using it. But for the time being, this DB is kept where we have the web client similarly. Okay, let it load, and you can see that everything is there. Nothing will be present here, no collection. Test collection, they just give it, should be fine. Great. Let me close this as well for the time being, and we are all good to go. Okay, everyone. So just let's go back to our architecture. Very important to understand what all we have done till now. We have the data in HTTP. Okay. We have the data in SQL Server or SQL Table as well. Now we are going to go to Azure Data Factory and do the data ingestion. Okay. Just to explain you a little bit more on this, what we can do. Do I have a diagram? No. Okay. So let me explain you that as well. Like why we are doing all this. Okay. So understand one thing. What happen is that what is the role of our data engineer? Okay. So new page is present. Let me add a sticker. In this, we have this one. Yeah. Great. So let us understand that what is the role of a data engineer. Okay. In a very simple manner, and this I'm doing for majorly people who have no idea. Okay. You can think of a data engineer as someone, okay, who works to get the water into your house. So when you open a tap, right? When you open this tap, okay, in your home, I hope this tab looks fine. Yeah, you are able to see that water is present here, right, everyone? But let's now go back a little bit and see how do we get that water. We know that there are multiple sources of this water, right? So we have these multiple sources, much like we have multiple sources of data. And believe me, this analogy is always going to help whenever you are confused. What exactly you have to do as a data engineer or a big data engineer. है ना? Now, pay attention. What is happening? So from multiple sources, just like we are collecting data from these multiple sources, we first have to create a pipeline for ingestion, for ingesting our data. Okay. So we will be creating a pipeline through which we get these data. So one is getting the data from SQL, one is getting the data from HTTP. We can have a MongoDB server as well. And now this all we will be storing somewhere, right, everyone? So this raw data or raw water we are storing somewhere. Once we have this raw water, then we are going to work on this. So first we have this ingestion pipelines, or some maybe I would say ingestion software or ingestion way. There we are going to use Azure Data Factory. Okay. Then once we have all the raw data with us, we are going to work on this using Databricks. Maybe this is something where we clean the water. We make sure that we are able to handle it. And then we can store it somewhere. Now, again, this is our data which is transformed. So if we go back to the pipeline, we have the raw data. Then we will do some data transformation. Now, if you remember, we used to add the bases and alum or maybe some other things here, some minerals or something, right? That is all good as well. And after that, we will store the transform data. Then we will use this synapse to, maybe the way you can think of this is you're doing analysis on your water. If it is actually fit for drinking, maybe this water is fit for irrigation to send to the farms. This water, and you can actually we will be creating a serving layer as well here. Okay, so I will be talking about Meddallion architecture, where we will understand that how exactly. So maybe once you have this data which is transformed, once you have the water which is maybe cleaned and treated for different purposes, right? For, let's say, for irrigation, maybe we will just store this water only, right? So for irrigation, let me just remove this thing for the time being. Now from here, what I can do is I can create more tables. So for irrigation, maybe we will use this water as it is. For drinking, maybe we will use this water by cleaning or doing some more work on it. And for any other use case, maybe let's say cooking, we might add some minerals or something on this, right? So this is our final serving layer, we say serving layer, from which we served our data or the water. I hope you like this explanation. So this is something which we say as raw. This is we say as, you can say it as semi-processed or transformed. And this is the final serving. Okay, everyone. In terms of Meddallion architecture, this becomes your bronze. Okay, bronze medal. This becomes your silver. And this becomes your gold. So gold standard, right? We want our data to have gold standard. Gold. Great. So let us now move forward and I will just talk more and more about this, but I hope you're getting the full picture and the idea clear. And again, this is going to be a lot helpful for anyone who is like in the data field, who are, if you're able to explain to your interviewer all these things in so much easy manner, you can just actually say like, see how easy it will be to clear your interviews, right? Great. So cool. Now let us go to Azure, everyone. Now we are going to create a, first thing is, if you will see in this diagram, it's a Azure Data Factory. So for that, just search Data Factory here. You will see this Data Factories. Okay. This is a resource. So as this is a resource, we are going to use it. Just a second. I've been speaking for so long. Let me just have quick water. Okay. Just like we will do when we are working on any project in a company. I am going to create this resource. Like I showed you that diagram of Azure, right? Where we had, let me go back to that. We had this sub resource group, and under this I will be having my resources, right everyone? So let me move forward, and I'm going to create a data factory resource. Okay, great. So first thing is subscription. Again, it's a free trial only. Resource group, I'm going to use ecom live. Now name, you will see one thing here, name of the data factory. Okay, so what I'm going to follow, Olist Data Factory. Okay, it should be, I think it should be unique across your Azure, but let us see that. Let us use Data Factory. That is going to be a lot helpful. I will tell you why, because towards the end, just like a real project, we will have so many resources that we need this distinction. Central India. Central India. See, Data Factory name is already taken. Choose a different fact name. Okay. Olist Ecom Data Factory. So it should be unique across Azure, I think. Right? See, now it's fine. So if anyone in the Azure has ever created this, I will not be able to use it. So you will not be able to use this exactly mine. What you can do is you can maybe add your name in the end. Okay, so any name which any resource which I'm using, just add a name towards that. Okay, region is this, version is this. Now we can do next. Region Central India. Version is v2 only, should be fine. We can configure it later, not to worry anything. Networking, public endpoint should be fine. We don't have to change anything. Advanced, no manage key or nothing. Okay, next and next. So it's going to first run some validation on the name and other things. It says that, okay, everything is fine. Let us create this. Okay, so it is creating it. Meanwhile, let me just explain you a little bit. So deployment is in progress. It is just getting that resource and creating it. Meanwhile, let us go back to our notes and understand about what exactly is Azure Data Factory. Okay, so I'm going to explain it in an easy manner so that you can even explain your interviewer or senior anyone about that. See, Azure Data Factory is a cloud, okay, is a cloud tool that collects data from different sources, organizes and makes it moves it where we need it. Okay, so it's just like your this ingestion, like different pipelines which you will be having. One, let's say, is getting the data from ocean, sorry, water from ocean. One, sorry, not ocean. One, let's say, is getting water from lake. One might be getting it from well. One might be getting it from river. Again, each and every one will be having some different characteristics. So we have to make sure that we make all these connections. How you can think of it in a easy manner. Let's say you are making a cake. Now you require different things for a cake, right? Maybe let's say some bread you require, which might be there in bakery. Some chocolate you require that might be in some supermarket, and Let's say you require sugar that might be at your home only. Okay. Now, Azure Data Factory, what it will do is it will get all those data from different sources, all those ingredients, and keep it in your kitchen. So, as we said, we can collect data from different sources, organize it, and move it where we need it. Right. So, the role, or what does Azure Data Factory do? Data collection, and we can do some little bit of cleaning here as well. Oh, sorry, no, it should not be cleaning. It should be ingestion. Ingestion. Okay. Once we ingest it, then we can do data transformation here as well. So we will see that transformation. Okay. So we will read data as a table from our SQL, right? So just to go back to our architecture again. And this I will be doing a lot because see, this architecture is the major picture, right? You have to make sure that you refer to this a lot because this is from how you will be creating your project. This we will be reading a SQL table, but we will be storing it into this ADLS Gen2, our data lake, which I will be coming to as a CSV. So we will be doing some transformation and data movement. Of course, we will be moving our data. That should not be a problem, right? Why do we use it? The reason is that it helps you to make these very good pipelines, which you're going to see forward. Now you could have written the code for it as well, and code was also written. I would say for many things we do write the code, okay, but you will see that how easy is it, right? How easy is it to configure these, and they are scalable and everything, so they give us that benefit, okay, and that's why majorly we will be using it, and it's again very easy if you will now just see that. But I hope you get this idea, okay? So why is it required? Now let us go to its awesome UI. I actually just like this Azure Data Factory a lot. So we can go to resource. Let's go to resource. And this is our Olist Ecom Data Factory, Data Factory V2. Let us now launch this. So you will see that Microsoft, just like we launch your Excel, Word, like we see something like this. And it's going to follow a similar kind of a structure, right? Because Microsoft is the main developer for this. Great. So we have this in front of us now. Let us see a few things. Home. It is just showing you ingest, copy data at scale once or on a schedule, orchestrate code-free data pipelines, transform data, and configure SSIS. You can just, for the timing, leave this. So these are the three things which I talked to you about. We have the other, which where we will be doing all our work, right? We have monitor. So when we run our pipelines, now what I mean by pipelines, you will have these data ingestion one after the another, right? We have multiple data. So maybe first I will read data from SQL. Once that gets uh, properly, I would say, into my system, then I will going to read to say your this thing to your GitHub, the HTTP service, right? So similarly, we can have a NoSQL DB. We can have some other ways, all these things. Manage. So we have many things here. We will be using linked services. What is this is we can just configure things, right? So for example, let's say you have this SQL DB. Okay, you can have multiple SQL DB. Now, for that, what we can do is we can have the service once and all. Like for example, let's say when you are baking the cake, you know that you always go to that supermarket, right? So you can have the number of that supermarket stored somewhere else. So this is that link service in a very simple manner. You don't have to enter it again and again. Okay. So go to that link, enter it again. That is something not we will be doing. And learning center is just to learn. Okay. Straightforward. Let us go to other. Let us go to pipelines. Actually, we have to first do add and create a pipeline. Great. So we can close this. We can name this, let's say, data ingestion. Okay, when I'm typing data ingestion pipeline. Okay, everyone. Yeah, I think this works. We can just click this properties and you can get rid of it. So this is just actually changing the name. Nothing else is there. You can do description, annotations, related, nothing major. We are just closing it. Here we created a pipeline. Okay, so we have multiple things here, like you can see it. We had change data capture, preview, data set, data flow. We can create data flow as well, and Power Query as well. So majorly we use pipeline. Okay, in the pipeline, it's a very easy and very good UI. You can just drag and drop things. We have multiple things. You will see for machine learning, we have some like blocks. We have some for iterations. Okay, these are now other services, HD Insights. These are big data services. You can write Spark as well here. So this also is following a lot of your Microsoft design, I would say, structure. For example, in your Microsoft PowerPoint, you can create an Excel table, right? So in a similar way, it is giving you other, I would say, things here. So you will see Databricks here as well, right? So this is Databricks. But the reason we are using so many of these services, so you get a very good idea, right? And you are able to use them. Plus, in the industry, they are still like they are used separately, right? It is not the case that you don't use them separately. Although one is providing everything, still like it's I think very straightforward, right? Maybe Python can do everything, but still we have different languages because it's easy or normally for a role which it is optimized, it's better to use that service. Okay, so let's go back. And the very first thing you can see in move and transfer, we are going to do copy data. So we are just going to put it like this. Okay. So this block, what it's going to do, it's going to copy your data from a input or a source and put it to somewhere, which can be your output or it is known as sink here, as you can see here. Okay. So for the timing, let me just add a name here. So let's say data from, and this just I'm going to show you from an example, GitHub. Okay, let me, so see, I will tell you what exactly is happening here. Okay, you will see that we can create. So if you skip this, we can have another block here. Okay, let me add another block, for example. Once it gets done without on success, you can connect this like this. Okay, you can add things here as well. So all these things, just a very straightforward. If it gets failed, then you can maybe show something or connect this. And if it gets complete, okay, normal if it gets completed without any of, I would say, success of it, you can just connect it here. So this is why we say it's a pipeline. So once this gets completed, then the next one in the pipe will get executed in a similar manner. Okay, great. So let's go to data from GitHub. I'm going to say go to source, and this is where you will see a lot of magic happening. See, when I do it new, okay. So I can just explain a little bit more on Data Factory. What exactly happens here, everyone? Pay attention. We are going to have a source. We are going to have a source, and we are going to have a, so we are going to have Data Factory in between, and we are going to have a sink or storage space as well, right? Again, similar. We have water coming from where, but before you treat it, you have to save it somewhere, right? This is where ADF will come into picture. Now I will show you what all source it supports. For sink, we are using data lake. Again, let's say you are storing water, all the water at some lake. So data lake is that only. Just to give you a little bit more idea about this, let us go back to our architecture. In this lake, it is optimized for storing raw data in any format you like, right? So all this thing, we are going to create that as well. Let us move forward. But first, let me show you how you can understand this first. And this is, I think, the magical thing. Let me move myself maybe somewhere here for the timing. See, let me have myself here. I hope this works. Yeah. And you will see so many services here, right? And Amazon is supported, right? Amazon RDS, Amazon Redshift, Amazon S3, okay, Apache, Impala, Azure Blob Storage, that is from Azure only. So the basic idea is that just like you can get your water from anywhere, right? This is like exactly why it's so awesome. You can have Azure database from MySQL for PostgreSQL, Cassandra. Okay, we can have FTP, file transfer protocol, file system, Google Ads, Google BigQuery, HBase, HDFS. Okay, if you're not aware, it should be fine. But I'm just showing you that how many services or how many locations are supported, right? And if all of this was not enough, right? You can even get from Microsoft 365, like your, let's say, your Word file or something. We have the MongoDB, the plain core MongoDB, the plain core MySQL, something which we will be using, and Oracle, all these Oracle Cloud things, PayPal, so SAP, REST, yeah, REST services, any API. And where is this? Shopify. So see how many things are supported, right? You can just get your all Shopify data here as well. So Shopify is a website through which you make e-commerce kind of things, right? Service now, like all of these are supported. Okay, what I wanted to show you, HTTP. See, HTTP service. So I am saying that, hey, my data, the source is going to be as a HTTP service. Let me continue. Select the format of your data. It's going to be a delimited text. So CSV, right? CSV is a comma separated value. So it's called as delimited text. Now it's delimited text. What I can do here is GitHub data CSV. I can just name this. Okay. And I can do link service. So I have to link this service. I have to tell that, hey, yes, it's a HTTP thing. That is first thing you have told me. Now how I should read it. So HTTP server, or I would say GitHub link, base URL, right? Let us go here. Let us get this. So we don't have to get this data, right? We have this in SQL. Let us get this thing raw. I think it's a lot high in data size. So that's why it cannot show it. If I go to my Azure Data Factory, this one, I add this base URL. Okay. You can see this. Information will be sent to URL specified. Please ensure you trust. Again, basic checks. And authentication side, we can use anonymous. We don't have to do any authentication. It's data which can be accessed by anyone. It's on my GitHub. You all will also be accessing it. And we can do test connection. So it's a very good habit to test your connection first and see. Connection is successful. That means that yes, you are able to make this thing. How is it? Let's say let's say when you connect your pipe to a water source, water is coming, right? That is how you test that connection, and we can create it. First OS header. Yes, we have the first OS header. I think customer ID, everything is there. No schema we are importing, so it should be none. And I can just click OK. And yeah, I think we are able to, let's do preview data now. So till now, what I have done, I have configured my pipeline that, hey, this is the kind of, let's say I said that, hey, this is a lake. Similarly, I said this is a HTTP. Okay, nice. If the lake is there, then maybe we need a smaller pipe. Then this is where the lake is located. So I give that address and you can preview this. Oh, nice. And see, we are able to get this whole data. Okay, so pretty good thing, right? Great. Now we will come to sync. We are going to come to sync in a bit. First, let us understand few more things. Now I have to read all this data, right? Everyone pay attention. How many files are there? 1, 2, 3. This we don't have to read. 5, 6, 7, 8. 7, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This last one we will be sending to MongoDB. Okay, this we also don't have to read. Now, everywhere else you might see that they will be creating these multiple boxes, right? You can copy this box. Then you can go to source. You can create a new one. Select HTTP again. Okay. Go here. Configure CSV. Select CSV again. And then do the other thing. Not a very scalable way of doing this. What if you have tomorrow 100 of these CSVs? What you're going to do then? Okay. So what we are going to do that for that. First, let me show you one thing. Okay. Let me just open this. Not new. Let me close this from where it can be closed. Cancel. Open. Yeah, so here it said that base URL and relative URL. Okay, so let me edit this and see one thing. Okay, we can have this base URL which can be somewhere here. And I can use all of this as a relative URL. So this is a base URL. I can use this as a relative URL. Okay. Now, let's say if I try to just save it and read it now. Okay, let me go back. I have saved it, I hope. Now let me try to preview test again. Okay, I'm able to read this, right? So it is just showing me that it is able to read this. What I have done, I've just said that, yeah, see, this is the place where a lots of wells are located. Okay. So first I'm giving that this is the base URL. Okay. So this is the base overall place, right? Let's say if your friend say that he lives in Delhi. So you book a ticket to Delhi. That's the first thing. That is the base. Then like, normally companies ask, where is your base located? Like, where are you located? So that's our base. And in that particular address, that is the relative URL because that is related to that particular file that is related to you. Okay. So in a similar manner, we are going to, what we can do is this relative URL. That is something which we can configure because base, I know that it's going to be my GitHub. And this relative URL I can configure to read the data, to make and read this data again and again. Okay. Now, if I have to read one file or if I have to read 10 files or 100 files, am I not doing the same operation, everyone? And because I'm doing the same operation, what does that mean? I can use this loop, right? We have this iteration. What's the basic funda or basic understanding about iteration? If you want to do a similar task, right, multiple number of times, please use me. That is the whole basics or idea about iteration. Nah? So why we should not use iteration? Okay, great. So for the time being, we are going to handle this GitHub, right? Everything we are going to handle here. Then we are going to our SQL table. Okay, so we are going to connect that afterwards. But for the timing, let's handle our GitHub first. Okay, great. So great. Let us do one few things. And let me just show you one more thing. So that is also very important. In the sink, right? In the sink, we have to select that where we have to store the data, right? So for that, let us go back to our Azure. And we are going to create a storage account here. Storage account. Okay, so your ADLS Gen2, this lake, data lake, it comes under storage account. So we are here. Let us create one. Okay. Let me just show you what was written. That will be helpful maybe. Create a storage account to store up to 500 TB of data in the cloud. Use a general purpose storage account to store object data. Use NoSQL data store. Like all of these things are supported, right? I'm going to create a storage account. Okay. Free trial. Yes. Resource group is ecom live only. Storage account name. Let me move myself back here. Good. Storage account name, Olist Data Storage Account. Okay. Field cannot contain any lowercase letters. Field contain only lowercase letter and numbers. Okay, no worries. Olist Data Storage Account. I think that works. Because only lowercase are allowed, I cannot do camel this casing. Yeah, good. So, okay, no worries. But just that I want to make sure that this is present. Central India should be fine. Primary service, no worries. We don't have, that should be fine. We can leave it as it is. Performance is standard. That should not be a problem. Redundancy. Okay, so let me explain what redundancy here is. See, what happens that when you are storing your data, right, everyone? Azure or your AWS will be storing your data somewhere. Now, in the cloud, when you're storing your data, what happen is that because we have so many machines all together, we have these machines inside some data center, and I showed you that inside India that there are multiple data centers. What happen is that there is a chance that failure can occur. So if you make a single copy of your data, and if gets failed, like let's say this machine restarts or there is some natural calamity, someone goes and mistakenly closes the like server, then you are at a risk of losing every of this data. That's a very big risk, right? So we make copies of our data. Like let's say you have your very important document. What you do? You keep one copy to yours in your laptop, one you keep in your pen drive, and one maybe you can keep on some mail or something, right? So you know that it is stored, it is saved. Similarly, we have different way through which we can copy our data and make it failure proof. Local redundant storage is that in your central India server only, in your central India data center, which is located in Pune, we will have multiple of these copies locally, right? So one will be, let's say, in some one data center in one of the rack. Okay, so I showed you now how data center looks. It's like a rack. One can be in some other rack, so that if one of them fails, at least it is present in some other location. Geo redundant is when it will be storing, if I remember right, let's say in the central India and in the South India. So if in case central India, the whole Pune structure gets down due to some natural disaster, due to some mistake, at least you have a copy in your South India as well. Zone redundant. So there are different zones which are basically connected. I think the US, San Francisco one is connected to New York. Now you can check that once. Okay, I think it's in US East, right? It's connected to San Francisco. You can check that once. But yes, this is how it happens. It will be creating those copies here. And geo zone is, let's say one copy will be, let's say one of your copy will be here and other can be in some other zone. So let us see that. Optimal data protection solution that include offering of both GRS and ZRS. So combining both of them. Okay. So let's say one copy will be here, one in South India and one will be in US. So you are sure that you will be safe. Since we are doing this project, we can select LRS only. More better, you will select better, more charges you will have to give. Okay. Let's go next. Nothing you have to change here. This thing is very important, hierarchical namespace. Okay, let me clear and explain you. So see, what happens is that because it's a data lake, it's a very big database where you can store anything, right? That is what a data lake is. No structure, nothing is there. So you can store your images, your videos, everything. And Microsoft uses a blob format. Okay. Now, Amazon uses S3 format, Hadoop uses HDFS. So these are your big data things, like the format gets shifted. What happen is that if you don't select this option, you are creating a simple blob storage. So you can create a container. Okay, so we create container inside this, but then you cannot create folders. You cannot add hierarchy. So what this says, enable hierarchical namespace. Hierarchical namespace complemented by data lake storage Gen2 endpoint, enable files and directory structure semantics. Okay, so if you do not select this, it will be like you have a desktop, but here you cannot make folders. Okay, that is the problem there. So we are going to make sure that we are creating this in such a way that we can create file structure. So inside I will be creating multiple of these structures. Okay. Yeah, that is how we will be doing it. So this option, that's why is very important. If you don't do this, you will not be able to create any of your folders inside it. Then again, access tier is hot, that I will explain afterwards, should be fine once our file gets created. So just to go back to our infrastructure, getting the data, storing it, creating a source or place for our water as well. And raw files will be stored. We will be not be doing anything. Okay. Sounds good. You don't have to change anything now. You can actually just go next. Many things are there, but honestly, less the better, right? So it's just doing all the validations and we can create it. Great. So it is getting created. Deployment, it will take some time. Okay, let us go back meanwhile and let me explain you about Azure Data Lake Storage as well, everyone. So as to give you a little bit idea here, Azure Data Lake Storage is a secure cloud platform that provides scalable, cost-effective storage for big data analytics. So because, uh, how can I explain this in an easy manner? If I have to explain it, let me think. Yeah, I can think of this. Imagine this cloud storage is like actually a huge wardrobe, okay, a huge almirah where you can put in anything, right? You can put in your clothes, your books, toys, anything you want to put, okay. But it is also a lot scalable, like a almirah from Narnia movie. I think that was a movie. Like it is like that, and it is having those shelves, drawers, and everything. It is a lot optimized for all the storage. Like you don't have to worry on anything, okay. So it is that wardrobe for your data. Now you can store massive amounts of data. It's a very big thing, right? So Azure Data Storage is a secure, and it's secure as well. You have the key. Cloud platform that provides scalable, cost-effective storage for big data analytics. Store massive amounts of data. Keep data organized, fast and efficient. So it is also very fast and efficient, right? Because we will be writing and reading data from here. Okay. In our water analogy, this is where we will be first keeping the, let's say, raw water. Then we will also be keeping the your treated water. Okay. So, okay, this is done. This is all I think majorly. These are the things you have to understand here. Okay. So in a project, majorly we will, as I told you, we'll be storing raw data and we will be also storing the process data here only because it is optimized for everything. Okay. It handles all kind of data. It is secure. It is scalable, right? You can, as I said, you can store 500 TBs. Okay. Up to 500 TBs rather. So yeah, I think that is where it majorly comes into picture. Now let us move forward and see if it is created. And you can see we can go to the resource. Olist data storage account. Okay, so overview and stuff, that all should be good. Now what we can do? Yeah, so we have to go on data storage here. Right? There are many things. We will be using few of them, access control, we can use security networking. But for the time being, we see for the data storage, right? We have multiple things here. And what are those? Let me show you. First is container. We can make containers. If you will, if you would not have chosen that hierarchical namespace, that tick mark, you will see this icon as different, right? Something you notice when you do lots of project and you are working for so long, you will see that change. I'm pretty sure that it must have not changed it, like not fixed that. I'm not sure it, that was actually not a problem. That this small icon, okay, if I zoom in, minute, yeah. So this small icon you will see changed, okay. Then we have file shares. Okay, again, you can just share it as a file. We have queues. Okay, so queues is something like a streaming data. Let's say Spark streaming, Kafka technological examples. In a real sense, let's say some data is coming, you will be spending like queues is basically used for that. Data coming, data you are sending. And you can make tables as well, right? So table, normal structured data, just we have in our database in a SQL. What we will be doing, we will be creating a container here. Let us go and create a container. Okay, so container, name of the container, Olist data works fine. Nothing I think as such required. Anonymous level private. So it is, as I said, it is secure. We can create it. So I've created a container here. Let us go inside this container. Now you can create multiple containers as well, everyone. Pay attention here. But for easy, I would just create a single container. And inside this, now we can see, we can add this directory. We can upload file directly as well. But we are going to add directories. Directories can be bronze. Okay, save. Then next one can be silver, silver medal. And final one can be gold. Okay, we can save it. Cool. So, okay, now let's come to this as well. For the timing, we are just creating this whole architecture. Now, since we know the architecture, we know that we will be storing it as bronze. Now, you could have made it raw, semi-processed, and or let's say raw, transformed, and data serving. You can use that as well. If you have multiple options, maybe let's say you can create client data, then process data, then serving data. That all you can do. That is not a problem. But I have to explain you a little bit about Meddallion architecture. So this is the diagram which we can use everyone. It is known as Meddallion architecture, just like medals. Okay, so bronze, silver, gold. Okay, so that is the major idea. Now, what you can do, or you can understand it in a very simple way. We have all these different sources from where we have the data. All these data we will be getting as a raw data in our bronze layer. Okay, raw ingestion and history. Silver, filtered, clean, and augmented. So we got water from all the sources into our raw. Then we clean it a little bit. We make sure that we are doing basic level of cleaning. Okay. Very good example, which I just remembered on the go. Gold, maybe you can see that, okay, once you get, let's say if they are sending the same data, you have the RO at your home, right? Let's say you make sure that you filter that water and that is the gold standard of water. So that is something which you can think of. But yes, then we do gold where it can be used for business level and aggregates and all these things. Then we have different, see, Kafka can read from here. All these visualization tool can read from here. We will be using a visualization tool. I saw that I might have to use Windows for that because this was not working, like Power BI and all that is not present in my Mac. Okay. Or databases can also refer from there. So this gold level, you being a data engineer, your role is to make sure that you are handling each and everything into this pipeline, right? So tomorrow, if your data scientist, he uses that data is gold standard. Like it should not that you have done some mistakes. And again, if someone feels that it is easy, if you ever do a project in data engineering, you will actually see that how difficult these things are. You should make sure that nothing gets leaked inside any of these pipelines. We have to also ensure that uh, basically every analytics which gets done, the overall thing of this pipelines fall onto us, right? It is like similarly, like let's say you have you are on the water control system, right? If they send you the water which is very high in lead or poisonous water or not so good, there is a problem or the city will get sick. So you can understand that level of thing you are handling in a data in your company. Okay. So that is the major idea behind the Meddallion data structure, everyone. Meddallion architecture. It's a very commonly used. There is one very good, I would say, article as well, which you can learn this from Meddallion architecture. It's on Databricks only actually. So see, a Meddallion architecture designed used to locally organize data in lakehouse with goal of incrementally and progressively improving the structure and quality of data as it flows. And it is very important. This is one of the system design which we use in data engineering. Okay, from bronze, silver. Okay, I think this was, yeah, this is the article which you can read and get a little bit idea. Okay, so one more was there, yes. So Microsoft one you can also use. This Medium article is also pretty good. Okay, they have also explained everything here. So you get this raw, then you get all these things and everything. Okay, cool. So pretty sure that you can, so what I've done, you have just search Meddallion architecture and the first three links you can just read from. Okay, that is I think more than enough. or maybe you can refer to other thing as well. Like it is a lot things which is important. Okay. People are not moving away from it that easily, that I can assure you. Okay. So yeah, I think we can close it. Great. Now, why we have done all of these things? So that when we go to our data factory, we have somewhere we can sync it. We have somewhere we can store this data. Okay. So don't use this. I will just quickly revise what we have done. We have this source setup for this copy data. We have this sync. Here I'm going to create a new one. Now, if you will search data lake, I think data lake, yeah, Azure Data Lake Storage Gen2. Okay, this is what we have to use. Again, here also sync, there are lots of things, right? You can store it in a SQL, Azure SQL, IBM Informix, MongoDB. You can send your data to somewhere else as well. You can rather actually, the way we wrote Python code, right? I'm pretty sure we must have sent, yeah, SQL Server. We could have just used this only to send our data to a SQL Server, right? Okay, for the timing, we have to use this. Let us do continue. We have to send it as a CSV. Continue. Let us add a new link service. So link service is going to be data lake. Okay. Description, everything. So we can select Azure subscription. It's free trial. Storage account name we will see here. Olist data account storage. It is loading everything. Yeah, I think we don't need any other thing because it's Azure to Azure. All the authentication and everything is a little relaxed, right? We can just create it now. And now it is asking, see, file path and everything. Now what we can do, we can browse Olist data. This is our container. Here, bronze. Okay. And I can say this. What was this file name? Let me just maybe use Olist. Let us just actually use the file name Olist customer. Okay. Customer. And now schema is none. We are not importing schema anywhere. First row is header only. And we can do click OK. And yeah, this is done. So sync is done. Source is done. Now to run this particular thing for once, right now we are running it manually without any parameterization. Okay, we can just first validate this. Okay, validate copy runtime. So it is validating. I think we can do this validation as well. Yeah. Once this is here, you can just debug this thing and it's going to run. See, I have to click debug and see one pipeline is getting created, data from GitHub, queued. If this gets run successfully, we should see a file in our data lake storage. Okay. Let us, pipeline is in progress. You can monitor from here as well. And one more thing I would like to mention here, meanwhile this runs. See everyone, I hope you get the basic idea. Now tomorrow, don't be like, I just know Azure Data Factory. No, I am explaining you using that water example. So in AWS and GCP, similar services will be present. Okay. Or rather, you can code all of these things as well. Okay. Here you can also get a JSON thing here. So use a JSON code representation of the resource. Okay. The idea is that you understand the basic, you understand the structure, the architecture. If you do that, you are going to be an awesome data engineer. Many students, what they do is they are always confused. See, I have just used ADF. Okay. Don't be like that. Please make sure that if tomorrow you have to do one part from AWS, one from GCP, one from Azure, you are focusing on the bigger picture. And that is what always is going to be a lot helpful to you. Okay. Great. Let us go back. Bronze. Let's hope the data. Yes, we are able to see this Olist customer. Okay. Let me now explain you this access tier as well quickly. You will see that the blob type is blob. Blob is a storage which Azure uses, right? You can actually just click on this and we can edit and see the data. We are not editing it. Okay, it's saying that file size is 9 MB, which exceeds 2 MB. So good thing, because in your project as well, you will be dealing with last size data only, 100K million records. This is URL last modified, all these information, just like as a file will have. Let's talk about access tier. Can I maybe change this access tier or somewhere? I can change, but let me just check from where. View or edit properties. Okay, sorry, my bad. View or edit. Okay, I forgot from where. Yeah, okay, there's a change tier option. So I will tell what exactly this is. See, hot is the one which you know that it's going to get used a lot. Okay. Then there are multiple here. Cold, cool, archive. So archive is, if you, let's say it is like backup, which you know that you might use maybe once in 5 years or once in 10 years, something like that. Cold is which might get used maybe once a year. Okay. Now, if you choose archive, it is going to cost you less. If you choose cold, it is going to cost you a little more. If you choose hot, it's going to cost you the maximum. Again, many people might think that let us select archive and access it. It doesn't happen like that. If you select archive, it's going to take you time to access. So when I access it in my Databricks to do Spark work on this, you will not be able to do that. Okay. So that thing is very, very important to understand. These are the majorly about tier. You can learn more from here, but it is exactly like some file you keep in your hard drive and keep as a backup. You access it very less. Some file may be kept on your PC somewhere where you access maybe once a year. Other files are on your desktop, okay, which you use every time or every day. I think if we use this copy, we can just see it as well. Let me do this. No. Yeah, makes sense. Pretty good. Public access is not permitted. I think there was some way we could do that, but should be fine. That's a good thing. You can see that it is a, okay, I have not clicked on it. Let me clear it. Okay. For the time being, I'm deleting it. I will tell you why. Okay. Or let it be. We can just get it. One more thing, we have not written the format here. So .csv we should have done here. Okay. So this pipeline is now properly done. We are good to go. Other places, other tutorials will now tell you that, hey, now create multiple of these blocks and do that one by one. We are not going to do that. We are going to do it as we will do in the industry, right? So yeah, I hope you are able to understand everything till now. If you have any comments, you want to show some love, any feedback, just do that. I'm making sure that I'm doing everything step by step, so it is clear to anyone who is even new to the data engineering thing, and he can write this project and he understand it properly. Okay. So first, now what we are going to do, I will just tell you. Moving forward, now we are going to create a link service and make sure that we don't keep on entering this every time. Okay. So let us do that, everyone. Let us go to manage. We are going to do it parametrically. What I mean by that, when I say that, okay, we are going to do it by parameterizing it, is that I know that, okay, see, I know that these files are present here. You will see that these files are having a name, Olist customer dataset. If I go on this file, okay, and I go on this raw, it tries to download it. Not sure if it downloads. See, everything is same. I think just this last thing is getting changed, right? So we will provide the base URL, and this URL, this relative URL, we are going to provide as a parameter, so that if tomorrow there are 100 files, there are 1,000 files, there are 100 clients, which you have to do the same thing, you can do it very smartly. Okay, you are not in the middle, and that is how things happen in the industry. So let us go back. There are so many things. See, so many good things we are doing just as you will do in the industry. We have your SQL DB here. You have your Python code here. Okay. Not like you are just working on Azure on a simple data set. No, we are not doing that. Great. So what we can do, okay, for the timing, let me delete these things. Okay, I'm deleting these. Delete this as well. And till now, we have not published this. We have just tested it out. Once we complete our pipeline, we are going to publish it. Okay. Let us create a new service. It's going to be HTTP. Great. So yeah, let's create this link service, HTTP. The whole overall UI you will see is the same. It's just that when we plug it in, when we created it in the copy data, right? So I am making sure that I create it first with all the things that are saved. The benefit, you will always know that, yeah, this was configured here. So the values, you can just enter it here once. And basically it's a lot error proof and you can use it multiple times as well, right? So that's the thing. Let me name it HTTP GitHub linked service, right? Then base URL, let us go to our GitHub. Then let's pick one of the file. Okay, so let us pick this OLS customer dataset. The base service we will have to get from here. Okay, let me click raw again. Let me clear this as well. And raw. Okay, view raw. So this is the base service. We can maybe pick till here, right, everyone? And I can enter base URL here. Let me close this. And no authentication, nothing here. Let us check the connection once. It should work, hopefully, should not be a problem. because it's just a basic service, and yes, it's fine. So we can create it. Okay, great. So now I have created this service. Basically, I've added one link service in my data sources. Let's add the second one as well. So I know that we have as of now not connected to it, but let's see, like we can add it now only. And this will give you an idea also, right? So the basic thing which I was talking about, how many link services you have, just make sure, or how many input services, input sources you have, just create link services for them. And then it can be shared across teams, and you can basically in this full pipeline, you can make them. So for that, let us also go to our files IO. Yeah. So this is my database. So just 1 second. Yeah. So this is the database which we have to use as of now, right, everyone? So SQL table, I have to read from there. We have already sent the data there by in batches of 500. So let us do that as well. Now let's go to our data factory. And you will see that now things will be a lot more clear to you. You will slowly understand many things and you will feel a lot comfortable as well, right? So let's write the files SQL DB. Okay, so this is my database file SQL DB. Now let me fill in these entries. So let us do one thing. Let me go into this. Let me have myself here only. So this is the host. Host is actually the name of your this server name. Port is 3307, right? Then we have this database name. Let me just do one thing. Okay, nice. So I've just tiled them vertically, one feature so I can show you side by side, right? Nothing major. Now pay attention everyone, what exactly is happening here now. It is asking me for database name. Database name is this. Okay. Username is this, and we can have the password. Now, many times it may happen that some, I would say these services might require you to enter a URI. So you can just directly have this URI. You will have all these information here as well. In the backend, actually, these all things are created, used so as to create that connection, right? Just like we did in our code, if you remember. So when we ask for the code here, in a way, it is giving me all these things. So 1 minute, what happened? Okay, I might have to untile them. Don't worry. Untile all tabs and set. Java. Well, let me refresh it once. I think it has been timed out or something. So no worries. Meanwhile, what we can do is we can just quickly check for the connection, test connection, and it should be able to connect. And as we can see, the connection is successful. So that means that I am able to connect to this server on the cloud or on some server, right? Of the database, sorry, database on the cloud or server. And yes, then I should be good to read the data as well. Again, you could have, I think, made this as parametric or added the dynamic content here, but should be fine. We will see, like once I do that for one of the five, you will understand how we have to do that, right? So let us create this. Okay, let it done. Not sure why it is doing slow. Let's close this. Let us close this, and let's now go back to our pipeline. So we have created these here. Okay. If required, should we create? Okay. So let's say the sync service, the output source service, that is something which we are going to create on the go only. If required, if you have multiple outputs, right? So for the timing, what is happening is I just have a single output, right? So if you have multiple outputs, then also it is suggested that you just create them. Or if you have maybe I would say the case where many things are to be entered, okay, multiple settings, then it's preferred to just change it and create a link service for that. Okay. So let us go back, and now what I'm going to do, let us get rid of this, and we will go to our pipeline. Okay. So this was the copy data which we created. Let me close this. Let me close this. And let us, for the timing, I'm just deleting it. I just want to show you, okay, I just want to show you how exactly we are going to use them. So the very first thing is copy data. This is like the thing copy data test. Okay. We will have a source. In this source, I have this HTTP GitHub service, right? This is something which I'm going to use. It is asking for data GitHub URL and file relative. 1 minute. Let me just see what was the service we created. HTTP linked. Okay, my bad. So again, we don't have to get confused here. Just give me a second. So pay attention, everyone. What we have to do here is we have to, so see, this we can actually get rid of. We can maybe delete them as well. Maybe some which I used earlier. We have to create a new one. Here we have to go to HTTP. Okay. Continue. CSV again. It's a delimited text. We know that. Link service. Here you will see now your service. HTTP GitHub link service. So what happened here was that you have created your link service, which was the HTTP GitHub link service, right? Once you selected HTTP, that is why you are not seeing the SQL one here. Because SQL one will be visible when we do that for a SQL connection, when we select the source as SQL. So here, when I selected this as HTTP, what Azure would have done, it would have just went to my link service and scanned and then filtered everything where it would have find out that, okay, it's a HTTP link service is present. Let me show that. Once I select that, now I don't need to do anything here. So the name can be data from GitHub via linked service. So it's always nice if you name them basically in a way that it is easily identifiable afterwards. Now this relative URL, right? This relative URL, I will not be providing anything, right? This relative URL as of now. What I can do, let me just open this. You can see everything is present here. We have tested this already. Let me do cancel. And we can just click OK. Now, if you will open this service, so see, I have selected this source data set from GitHub. If you open this relative URL, you can mention a dynamic content here. So we can mention that, hey, I want to specify some dynamic content here, right? And that dynamic content is going to get used when you basically try to run this service. So in this dynamic content, we are going to provide this left thing, right? This leftover thing. Basically, this is the thing we are going to provide. So let us create a placeholder for that. Okay, so just to make it a little bit more clear so that you understand, let me explain that. See, we have these 7 files or something. Okay, we have a copy service. Now, effectively, what we are saying we will do is that we will run a loop here. We will run a loop here. This loop, it's going to take up the relative URL. Like we will send that relative URL. And one more reason why this loop or this parameterization will be helpful, you will see that we are going to make a JSON file, which we can finally basically code and also then push to our GitHub or basically use it there so that you can do each and everything from your browser, from your code editor only, right? So this will become more and more clear as we go forward. But I will be going relative URL and file name. For each of these files, it's going to run and just run this copy service for me. Okay, so that's the plan here, everyone. Let me just clear it and let us create a new variable. So parameter, let me create new one, and the name can be CSV relative URL. Okay, this is the name I'm going to use. Let me save it and we can add it here. So whenever I will set this CSV relative URL, it's going to get picked up. Okay. And let us go back to our service. Let us HTTP GitHub delete. We can maybe get rid of this. Delimited text also, we can close this. Okay. So this was one thing. Now you are seeing that it is asking me for a value here. Okay. Similarly, in a sync, we are going to do the same thing. So let me create a new one. This time it's ADLS Gen2. We have already seen that. It's going to be a CSV. That's also fine. Linked service, we have not created that. So let me just do one thing. CSV from linked service to sync. Okay, so this is the name. Now let me create this new service, linked service, right? You can actually create it like it's actually created link service in the backend, but I like to keep it separate, that yes, we are creating it separately and then using it after coming to my pipeline. And it might be seeming, so I will just very highly suggest that please understand it. If you face any error, please open Azure at your end and try to do it. If you face any problem, any I would say step which is not clear, do it with me. or else just in the timestamp ask the same in the comments or Q&A that, hey, what is the exact problem which you are facing, and I will make sure that I help you out. Okay. Now the name can be ADLS for CSV, right? ADLS for CSV. I have this free trial. I have the Olist data storage account, and I can just do create here. That should be fine. For the file system, now I can select this. So it can be Olist data. Then we can have bronze. So we are dealing with bronze layer, and we can just click OK. So Olist data bronze, and we can just do none, else it's show an error. We are not importing schema via some file or something, right? And we can do OK. Now you will see if I open it. So this service, this overall link service which I've created here, I can just open it. It is asking me for a file path, right? I can make this a dynamic content. What is going to be this? We are going to create a new variable, which is file name, right? So it's going to be clear, like just stay 10 more minutes and you will see that everything is getting clear, and we can provide it here. We are asking that, hey, whatever variable we provide here, you have to just pick that up, and you will see now it is asking me for a file name. So source is asking me for a CSV relative URL. Sync is asking me for file name. That's the idea. And if I can provide that, it's going to run and it's going to give me the output. Okay. So I hope till now everything is clear. We have just tried to kind of add some variables here. It's very straightforward. It's just like we done our loop, like for each item, or let's say for file CSV URL and file name, and everything is going to happen there. Okay. Great. So let me close this and let us now pick up our iteration and conditional and for each loop. Okay, great. So this I was just showing normally what happens. So I will explain that, don't worry. Let us first, what we should do here, let me close this. Let us first go to our Sublime text, and we have to now create a new overall list here, which we are going to pass into our this thing, your for each. Okay, so we have to pass these values, right? Here, what we have to do, what were the name which we mentioned? So it's file name and CSV relative URL. Okay, it should not be the same. We will see that should be fine. CSV relative URL. Okay. And because I will have multiple of these, let me have each and every one as this, and file name. Okay. Now this thing, how we can get this? Let us go back to our GitHub and let me copy this thing. Okay. So this is my overall relative path, and this is going to be my file name. Right. So this for the first file. Now what I can do, let me copy this, and you can maybe pause the video here, try to make it yourself. That is also going to help a lot. Now pay attention. I can just go back. I can go back again. So this is my second file, right? I know that everything else is going to be the same. So what I can do, I can just change it like this. Similarly, I can change it like this. Okay. Then the third file. Delete this and delete this. Okay. So yeah, I hope that's fine. What we can do, let us create this for all the files. I think that should be fine. Olist order payment dataset, I think we have in here, right? So this we will be getting via SQL. Let us see. So I hope everyone you are able to actually do each and every step till now. Please, I know that I'm going a little slow maybe. The reason is that because the first time I did all these things, it was not that straightforward, of course, for me as well. Right. I honestly, the very first time I used something like this, there was a similar software which Goldman had made. Ignite Pad, I remember was the name, not really sure. But yeah, we have to do similar kind of a things. So this is a kind this overall making these pipelines and having this kind of a UI. You will find this at many places, many software. Maybe like I have seen that, right? At least in Goldman, it was having similar way. We were having data coming from different places. We can send it via CSV. They had some internal sources as well. But yes, the basic idea remains the same. So I, of course, struggle a lot in the initial understanding. So that's why I'm making sure to spend that time. Okay. So we have this Olist order payments here. So let us not use that. Let me create 7 more copies here. Sorry, 4 more copies here. So that total count is 7. And I would expect that you will create this yourself. Okay. That would be a lot helpful for you to learn these things. Let us get rid of this, and this. Okay. Great. So, okay, this is fine. Now, geolocation and order items. Now, what I have to get? This one. And here as well. Now we can, of course, I can write a Python code to create that, but that will be a little overdue. But in a company setting, of course, you can have, let's say something like this, where you are just sending these name and a Python script or something is creating that. And as a data engineer, actually, you will be writing lots of these scripts, right? Where these kinds of files are getting created on the go. Okay, so based on the parameters, based on number of files which you might have, let's say in a folder, these kind of scripts, these kinds of basically input file will get created. Okay, great. So now we have this thing, right? Let us now, for the time being, copy it. Now let me tell you exactly what's going to happen. Okay, let us go here. So see, when we write a loop, how it happens. If you have written a loop in any language, like for loop, while loop, for each loop, we write for, let's say I equals to 1. This I'm taking C++, I less than n, I plus plus, and then we have this thing. Something happens inside our loop, right? So this something which is happening inside our loop, this is your activities, right? We will be going in here. So don't worry. This I create just to explain you. Okay. Now let me remove this. Yeah. This I is something which we have to provide, and we have two values for that, right? So let me do one thing. Let me show you how you can provide these values. First, let us get clear all these things. Now let us focus on this for each. Okay. So this is the description. You can just, so you can deactivate it like this as well. So everywhere you will find this thing. Let us for the timing deactivate this. I will be using this inside my for activity. Okay. So pay attention here. I want it to be sequential. So what do we mean by sequential here? And these can be your interview questions. So when you say that you have used ADF, right? I would expect that a person who have used ADF in real life or in projects, he will be having this understanding. So in sequential, what happens is that so it's going to get picked up one by one. Then first, then second, then third, then fourth. If you provide batch size, let's say of 2, these 2 will get picked up, then these 2, then these 2, and then finally these one. So where can you use this sequential and batch? Let's understand. Here, actually, we can use batch because it's all again parallel, right? There is no dependency to one another. But say if you have a dependency that first file should come, then in your pipeline, you are maybe using that file. Then you should be using sequential. Okay. For the timing, I'm going to keep it sequential only because that's majorly how you are going to use it. But again, you have to make sure that you understand and are able to explain these to your interviewers. Okay. So batch may be required when there is no, see, maximum number of parallel runs for inner activities. Okay. So do it sequential. Then items. Okay. So I will show you multiple ways you can send these items. Okay. First, it's saying that property should be parameterized. Okay. So that is why I'm using this parameterized a lot when we do this, when I'm hitting this pipeline, right? So here what we have to do, see, when I click anywhere on this thing, I can create a parameter here. Okay, so I can create a parameter. Let's say for each input, okay, it is going to be an array, and we can copy this whole. Okay, we can copy this whole and paste it here, right? So this for each input, I have created a parameter. Now let us go here and see, I can add this dynamic content, right? Let me add this dynamic content and you will see for each input. Okay. Great. So now I have provided this value. Again, this is not the best way of doing it, but I feel that you should know the most basic way and then we will move towards the best way. The best way ideally, which we will move forward to, yes, I will do it. No worries. Is when you are able to use this as a file, right? We can maybe upload this file as well onto some storage or our GitHub, and then we can use it. Okay, so that might be the best way, but we will see. if we can have that. So let's do one thing, everyone. It is here now. Now what we have to do, see, now we have the input. So I have specified the I. We have the for each loop as well. Now we will go inside this activities. Okay. Let me actually go inside using this pencil mark. And let us now add an activity. So this step is going to be the same, copy activity. Okay, here we will say copy inside for each, right? Just a normal name. Source, we are going to select CSV from linked service, data from GitHub via, okay, I think this is the one. Let me go back. And that's the reason I normally make this. So when we go here on this one, source was data from GitHub link service and sync was CSV from link service to sync. Okay, let us go inside again. Again, if it's getting a lot, I don't think it should be like I'm making sure that I'm explaining each and everything at a step, but please do it yourself. Else you will get confused that when I'm going outside, it got rearranged, right? Let me just move it maybe like this. Okay. But now using this, I'm going to go inside to this for loop where I can do all the things. So pay attention. Data from GitHub via link service, right? Sync CSV from link service to sync, and you will see that it is asking me for these variables, right? Now pay attention. I am providing this as an input every time, right? This particular thing. So CSV relative URL is going to be the value which I should pass here, CSV relative URL, and source is going to be the file name, right? So let us go here and see add dynamic content, right? Now what happens, because this for each loop is running, okay, the variable is for each one here, okay, this current item. So how is this happening? Let me explain you. Here what is happening is this for each one, it's going to take first with this value, then this value, then this value, and like this it's going to run just like a loop runs, right? So what we have to do, let me go back. For each, okay, it's mentioned via this @item. So it's like you are, so like we use I, it's item here, okay, dot, and you will see now, see 1 minute, for each dot CSV relative URL. So we are able to get this particular value. So this Azure basically is smart that it kind of try to read this value, and I can do okay. Let's go forward. Let's create a dynamic content here for each item dot file name. Okay. So I have mentioned that, hey, you will get these values. So this is one item. From this item, take this CSV relative URL and send it here. This value will pick this up, sync, pick this up, and we should be good. Okay. Now we are outside. Let us first validate everything so that everything is fine. Parameter should be a valid array. Okay, where are we getting this thing? Okay, let me just maybe, why have we not getting this thing? Okay, I hope this kind of error is not the case. 1 minute, let me check. Is it still giving that error? 1 minute, let us check that. Okay, let us see if we have missed out something. Okay, I think yes, we seems to have. Okay, I think we have missed out on this. Yeah, this is not a valid array actually. We have missed out these commas. So to make it a array, we should have commas here as well, right? Something we missed out. Let us have this space also cleared. Great. Now, good. So let me now, so what I've done everyone, just have added this particular comma, right? Let us just copy this, paste, and it is now fixed. Okay, so we missed this particular comma, right? I created this myself, so it should be fine. These type of error, of course. The good thing is that it tell you invalidate if this array is there or not. Now I can just debug it. This is deactivated, so that should be fine. Okay, let us do one more thing. Let us do one more thing, because when I will debug it, it's going to run. Let us have this copy data. Okay, let us say that if it gets done, then you have to run this copy data. This time, what do we have to do? Data from SQL, right? Source is going to be, okay, we have to create new, because this time we are talking to SQL service. So MySQL, and we have created a link service here. So we will see that now. See, filter file SQL DB. It's reading the table name. So let it read. Hopefully it should able to get our table. Okay, so all the tables it is now trying to read. Let's hope it gets our table here. Let it do it. So meanwhile, yeah, again, any error, please make sure that you comment that. And if you're liking this, do let me know. You can reach out to me. I am easily reachable. But yeah, so see, Olist order payments. And you will be able to see that how complex this is now getting. Multiple from here, we are creating this JSON. This JSON, maybe you are creating in your VS Code and you can push it to GitHub, something which I'm going to do. Don't worry. Okay. And if I go back here, this table is something we have to use. So okay. Okay. And in the sync, now we are going to select, let's say we can create a new service here as well because we want to keep them separate. Azure Data Lake Storage, right? It's a delimited text again, CSV. So table is going to get created in change into a CSV. This is a transformation which we are doing, right? So in the ingestion, I told you that we can do a transformation using our this thing, right? So SQL to ADLS, okay. Link service, I'm going to create new only, should be fine. We can create, like, see, it is better if you create this new, although all the things are going to be same, but still. The reason is that SQL to ADLS linked service. If in case you want to add some description, you want to make something change, you want to have some other, let's say this thing, then you can change that. Ideally, and it's normally a better design if you ask me now, when you divide these small containers or link services separately, that is better in terms of design. Like it's going to be a good design. No one is going to say that, hey, why are you doing that if it's the same? Well, it's a good design practice, right? We can just now do create. So here now we can actually do one thing, Olist data. Okay, let it read. So when I was also in my professional journey, I used to think that why are people moving this small things separately? And many times my code reviews and I would say many times my development used to get cancelled because, like, let's say I have not created them separately. That each file should get let's say separately created, or each service should have its own deployment. Believe me, this is a good practice. Okay, Olist. Okay, so what was the name? Olist order payments, right? So we can check on GitHub as well. Olist order payments dataset CSV. Now let us use the exact name. So we have to add this CSV as well. Okay. No schema, nothing. First two is a header and we can do okay. And now this is connected. This is disabled. We can validate once again just so that nothing like variable is there. In the copy data, this copy data, no variables are there. This copy inside for each is going to run 7 times, I guess, right? So let us now debug it and let's hope we see all greens. If we see any error, we are going to solve that. But yeah, let's hope that we see everything green. Let me close this and let us run it. Yeah, that is the input. It's has been validated. Okay. So let's see. It's going to start a pipeline. And you can see that's not an easy pipeline at all, right? I'm going to now show you how we can also move that to a file, but I think it's straightforward to understand that how we first pass this value, this JSON value as a, sorry, this array value as a normal object. Okay, so let the pipeline start. And if we are able to do this, then you should be very happy with yourself. The reason for that is you are actually have done a very good job, right? It's not easy at all. I'm not showing you, like, it would have been very easy to show me just half an hour to get a single file, but we are going in deep of any concept, right? So for each is running, copy inside for each is also running. Let us see how much time it will take. Okay, I hope it runs pretty well. Let me get myself here. Is there a way to refresh or should we wait? So these pipelines, when it runs, it usually test your patience out. Okay, let me refresh. Okay, let it run. Why is it taking so much time? We will have not run an infinite loop, I hope. Let us go to our container, Olist bronze, and see if anything we have here. Is the internet running? Seems so. Refresh. Refresh. Okay, let us see why is it taking so much time. It should not. Oh, great. So yeah, good to see this. We have all these things. Okay, so yeah, okay, I forget why it's taking us so much time. The data is a little big here, right? So we are not dealing with very small level data. Okay, let me refresh it. Great. Mhm. But that's a good thing. So kudos to you all. We have actually done this. It's not an easy thing to do, as you can see. Even I have to check if like we have not missed out on something. So the last iteration is running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 files we are getting from there, right? So 7 files, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This 8th file we are getting from SQL DB, and then we are going to work on that. So yeah, let us go on bronze. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, seems like everything has done. Yep. Seems like data from SQL has also ran. One thing I forget, I think if you go here and if you go on source, you can preview data as well. Simple thing. We have done this already. Okay, let it through. Sure, no, internet is slow or we are taking so much time. Internet seems to be fine, but I will change it maybe in the once I move to the next part because I feel like this is giving a problem, but no worries. Meanwhile, let it show the data. Meanwhile, what we will do is let us go outside. Project Brazilian e-commerce, and let us create or add a file here. Create a new file. Okay. I'm going to copy all this. And what is the file name? So data, or I would say for each input.json. Okay. Let me commit this changes. Commit directly. Yes, for sure. We own the main branch. And you can just make sure that you check out everything, all the codes, everything I will be sharing here. Right. So for each input we have here now, everyone. Now let us go back. Yeah, see. So we are able to see this data. Okay. So that just means that we are able to read this data not, properly. Now, first of all, a lot congratulations because you have just did this thing. Not easy at all. If you like all this, just do give a like or basically let me know if you are able to do all these things yourself. If you're able to explain even this much to an interviewer that you have done this kind of a project where you have multiple data sources, you were able to parameterize them, okay, create a JSON and then get all this, interviewer will be know that yeah, this person seems to have done the stuff. Okay. But still, we are a long way in our project. Let me now do one more thing. So there is a general, yeah. So there is one more this lookup thing. Okay, lookup. Now we are going to use this, right? I'm not sure if I can share this pipeline, but I'm pretty sure that if you follow the instruction, you will be able to make them. Okay, great. So lookup for each input. I will tell why I'm making this. See, every time just making this and sending it here will be a problem. And there are multiple things which are problematic. Again, we saw that we missed out that comma. So if let's say tomorrow you are given this new file and someone asks you that, hey, just add another source into this. As a fresher, you will feel very difficult. Like, okay, what I have to do. And I have done this kind of job where I was asked to like just add a data source into a pipeline. So it's better if we have all these things mentioned or handled via code, right? Not like I will be copying and seeing this. No, rather this full thing gets generated via a code, which again you can easily create or let me know, like we can easily create that code. So here now I'm going to do settings. Here you see this source data set, right? So let me do this new and we have to get it via HTTP. Like I could have uploaded that as well, but let us get it via HTTP. This time the source format is JSON. Continue. Linked service, I will have to create new one. So JSON from GitHub for loop. Okay. So now let us go back here. Let us open this. Let us view it raw. And let us use this directly. Again, you could have parameterized this as well. Provide the base URL, everything. Now I know that you can do all this. Okay. Let us test the connection. If everything is fine. Yes. Let us create this. None. No relative URL we have to specify here. I could have mentioned the main URL and the relative URL, but I think you can do that. So it should be fine. And we can create. Okay. Let us preview the data. Okay, seems like we're able to get this. Now, one thing you have to make sure that, see, because this is a lookup activity, it just kind of helps you to peek onto your data. So you will see that it's saying first row only. We have to get rid of this. We don't have to click that. Okay, first row only. We don't have to use this because we will be using everything here, right? We want to not just use the first row, we want to use everything. So for that, let us now, for the timing, I'm just deactivating it. I'm just deactivating everything. These services I'm deactivating. I will just show you by running this particular thing. So let us first validate. Seems like everything is fine. Let us debug and run this particular thing. For each input, yes. So I'm not using. I'm going to get rid of this, but no worries. As the time for each input is the value. This is not going to run. Okay. And see, look for each input is going to run here, and it has ran. All the others are inactive, so it is not running anything. We can see the output using this thing. See, it's saying count is 7 and value is where we are able to see all these things, right? So we are able to see that, hey, it get this thing, count 7, value, and then other things are also there, like what exactly happened, total billable duration, like how much time it ran, it built into my Azure, because again, Azure is going to charge you to get this data, right? Now, what we can do, pay attention, we can now make this connection. Okay, if it is successful, and make sense that if it is successful, don't just connect using this because on completion, else it's going to run. So if we face an error, all your pipeline is going to fail. Okay. This time, let me first activate it. Okay. Now the main thing why I did all this is I want to get rid of this thing. I want to get rid of this variable. The reason is that, again, as I told, what if someone makes a mistake while entering this? That's not a very good software engineering practice, that you are letting some manual thing creep in. Vis-a-vis, if tomorrow you can just fork this particular, you can just maybe get this particular file onto your laptop, work on the VS Code, add any number of files which I ask you, and you are sure that this data pipeline is going to run fine. So you can see the difference in mindset, right? That is what experience teaches you. I am going to make sure that everything is in a way that you can run it from anywhere. So now when we go here, first we have to activate it. Let us go back. This time activate settings. We can get rid of this. Now see, add dynamic content. Okay. So look up for each input dot output, right? So I showed you the output, if you remember. Everything was in the value. So this is very important. This is a very good, like some interview can ask you this as well. That, hey, why do we enter this value? Because if you remember, when I showed you in the pipeline, there was count, which was 7, and there was value, which was having this particular thing. Okay, so let me do okay. And now actually I can get rid of this variable, right? And let us just try to delete all these things. And we are going to run our pipeline again. And fingers crossed that it runs pretty well. Delete, delete. Okay, go back to our pipeline. Let us validate. Seems to be working fine. Now this time it's not going to ask us most probably for the variable. See, when I click debug, it's not asking me that variable entry. Everything it's getting from your GitHub, or it can be in your other storage. It can be a SQL table as well. Now you know how to do that. Okay. So look for each input was successful. Let us see the output. So see, this was what I was saying. This value, right? I have to use this value. This is the output. If I would have used count, we would have got 7. Value, we are getting all this value thing. Let it run. Let's hope. Okay. So copy inside for each. Okay, so first iteration is successful. That means if I go to my data lake, if I refresh here, I should see 2 files, because the second one will also be successful now. But yeah, okay, maybe it's taking a time to just refresh it here. But I hope now you get the whole picture. Okay. Okay, seems like we should not face any error, because this was the major place where we would have got any error. This, though, I know will work. Oh, okay, we forget to do it. Okay, we will run it separately. No, or let me stop. No, let it run. Okay, let it run. No worries. Can I just deactivate it now? But I know now it's not going to show. Okay, so we forgot to activate it. That means it's not going to run. And if we go on manage and see the pipelines, minute it should be just done here. Yeah. So again, the problem is that these all are running. Okay, the last one is not running. Cool. So yeah, let us just. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete and like we will run it again. Meanwhile, I will explain you a few things so that it just gets all done. Okay. I think we should have 7 data sets by now for sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they're taking time. The reason is that you can see some when you create that to a blog, it's like the size is increasing. And one very good important thing more is that again you can see that this data set is at a respectable volume. It's not in KBs or something which is getting quickly loaded, because when it gets loaded quickly, I think so when it takes time, we are doubting our skills, right? And that's a good thing so that we can double check everything. So yeah, I think everything is done. Okay, the last one is also running. Let us run. Let run. We have to still publish our pipeline, so we have not published it as of now. Okay. Link service. Okay, I think it has run, right? Pipeline. Yeah, everything has run and it has been successful. Let us go to other. Yeah. So this was actually something which should have run. We did a mistake by not running it. But let's do one thing. Let me just explain you everything again. And now this is all fine. I'm going to delete this thing. I just use it for explaining you. Now let us go back here. And because of credits, which I have free, I can like make sure that I run it again and again. Let me get rid of all these things. Delete, delete. So I'm just running it again so that now the whole thing gets completed in a proper way. Let us validate it. Let us debug it. Okay. Great. So meanwhile, let it run. Now I'm going to explain what we have done till now. So we actually have, in a very nice way, uploaded data to a GitHub. So that is pretty easy. You can download and upload normally. SQL table, I asked you how you can use files.io, and you can use this Python code to send your data. Now you can see that you can even write the Python scripts to keep on updating that data, right? Let's say if you get the data every day, you are sure that because the data is getting to a DB, you will be able to fetch that into your Azure Data Factory via this SQL table. Now, along with this, what we did was, here we have created a parameterized for loop kind of a thing, which was getting everything done for these 7 tables, right? So now if tomorrow client says that, hey, I'm going to send one more data, let's say Olist seller details, something like that, Olist seller pin code or something, you just have to go to your JSON and you just have to include that thing here. See how easy it's like you can just do a commit where you are adding something like this here and everything will be fine. I can of course edit it, not showing that, but yeah, let's go. Pipeline is going to run. So with that, I'm sure that you must have understood the first part. So if we go to the notes, so data ingestion, we have used Azure Data Factory here, everyone. So we have used Azure Data Factory with HTTP and a SQL Server. Few more important things to very nicely remember always, that parameterization. Okay. For each loop, for each activity, not loop rather, and lookup. Okay. So everything is there. So till now, you should be able to do it. And actually, a lot. Congratulations, because you have learned a lot. This is not something which you will find. Actually, 90% of students, they will not have any idea about this, because they just take some basic, I would say, case, and they are like, okay, I know this thing and that. No, if you ask them to create this kind of a pipeline as well, they will not be able to do that, because they just read it from a simple GitHub and upload, or maybe they just use FTP or just upload the service. We have created a full-fledged kind of a production grade pipeline. Again, you can make it more complex. I hope you get the basic idea behind again that if I ask you to, let's say, add more files here, read from other data sources, have some variables as well, right? So now you have seen that how we can have these variables as well. So we could have created folders as well. If we required, we were actually at a place where I would have placed or made these folders as well, right? So let me refresh it and we will see all the data. I think the last one, the SQL one is getting just ready. But yes, if required, we would have folders as well, right, everyone? So see, Olist data. So we have done our bronze level kind of a work in the Meddallion architecture. Now we are going to read this data into our Azure Databricks and read some data from MongoDB for enrichment, which I will show you now how we can send. And we will see that how we can transform this data to our silver layer. Okay. So cool, everyone. Now, once we have all the data, I think it should be successful. Yes, so everything is successful. We have seen here, and we must have 8 data sets here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Now we are good to publish it. Okay, so publish all. We can just publish it. And it is deploying changes to the factory. You have validated everything. You have ran it. Now we can publish so that it's there. Else it would have actually been removed, right? Okay, and now let's close the data factory. Thanks a lot for your service. We will now a little bit more confident in the data factory usage and let's close it. Let's go all the way back to Azure home. And now you have to go to this Azure Databricks, right? So yeah, let's go and create our Azure Databricks service as well. So let's click create here. Okay. This Databricks is a very good technology, everyone. So it's a lot in demand. Okay, and I'm going to give you a brief, majorly about Spark and Databricks. But if you are a lot proficient in working on the data on Spark and then Databricks, of course, it's going to be a lot helpful, right? So cool, free trial. Then we have to use the ecom live resource group, workspace name, Olist Spark. Okay, workspace. Okay, Central India. We can have it premium only. I'm going to explain you a few things on that. And manage resource group name. So I will tell you what exactly is going to happen here. See, when we create your overall Databricks, right? It's actually a third-party software. Databricks, I can show you that actually. So Databricks, right? See, so Databricks is actually overall a third-party software, right? So AWS, Azure, Google Cloud platform, all of them provide your Databricks on top of their platform. So the understanding there is something like this. We are going to use the hardware which is provided by your, let me delete it, yes. We are going to use your hardware which is provided by these machines, these cloud providers like Azure or AWS. And on top of that, we are going to install or have installed Databricks. And due to this reason only, we will be giving two costs. First cost will be of this and second cost will be of using Databricks. So DBUs, Databrick units and hardware cost. A very good intuitive example to explain you this. We all buy machines, right? So your computers. Think of this like your laptop, or sorry, your laptop also you can think. It's of Dell or let's say HP. So hardware is provided by them. You pay them for the hardware. And for the machines, or sorry, for the operating system, we let's say majorly install Windows or right, and Windows are not free. Okay, so if you are using one without paying, that's majorly cracked. But again, that's not possible with Databricks. So just like we do things here, and I'm pretty sure that this analogy is going to be a lot helpful. We have to pay for the hardware separately and for the your Databricks separately, because this is such an awesome platform or such an awesome, I would say, way through which you can work on Spark. That's why everyone is including that. So when you see this pricing tier, you will see 14 days free DBUs. Okay, I can show you that as well actually. So not many people are aware of this, but 1 minute. See, DBUs, Databricks. Okay, Databricks pricing. And you can see one simple platform, all these things. data warehousing. So you will see that it is mentioned in terms of DBUs, right? Not to go a lot in depth of that, but yes, that thing is important to understand. See, you will see the like AWS pricing and other as well. See, pricing calculator. So add compute type, which compute you are using. Okay, all these like computes are present here. You can provide the cloud as well. So Azure. Let me read this. Yeah. For Azure database pricing, let us go there. So here you are going to now see two overall prices. Let it load. Okay, meanwhile, let us go to our Azure. Okay, so we are seeing multiple things here. Premium, we can select for the timing, should be fine. Now, this manage resource group name. Okay, so what happens is that your Databricks, it's going to create its own resource group, right? So ecom Databricks resource group, right? So the reason I'm doing it like this is so that it is easily identifiable. Okay, it's going to have its own resource group under which it will be having the hardware, the basically VNet to connect virtual network and few things, right? Not going a lot deep into that. That's a overall separate class for the time being. But yes, the understanding is that because we will be using Azure and the Databricks, it is making sure that, and Azure is pretty transparent in this thing. They will be telling you these things. Now you can see few things here, right? Pay as you go. This is majorly the model. So standard price tiers and premium. That was the two options. Trial was for 14 days. Okay, DLT tables like Delta Live, again, totally different thing. And Databricks units, all these things are present here. So let me close this. Olist Spark workspace. This thing is also good. We are selecting premium only. We recommend the pricing tier for your workspace. Yeah, that's fine. Let's go to networking. Okay. Nothing we have to change here. We can continue, we can move forward. Next, encryption. Again, nothing major. Security compliance, nothing. Tags, not adding in tags. And review and create. Okay. So again, same thing. It's going to review and create your Databricks workspace on your Azure. I know as of now we have not selected the machines and stuff which I told you about. So we have not selected our hardware. We are going to do that as well. Okay. And seems like it has been created. So let's go back. Oh, sorry. Validation is successful. We have to click create now. So this I know now many of you will be able to understand. It's almost the same in any place you're doing, right? Great. So let it create deployment. Let it deploy. It's going to take some time. Meanwhile, let's use that time. Okay. So data ingestion we have done properly. Now let's move on to Azure Databricks. Now, for anyone who has learned a little bit about big data, you might be aware that majorly we have two things we do on our data. The first one is storing, right? So here we are using blob storage. We can have HDFS, we can have S3. These distributed storage are there. And along with that, we have to process or work on our data. Now this processing part, right, everyone? The very basic way of doing this is MapReduce, which was presented as a part of part of Hadoop, right? HDFS plus MapReduce framework. But MapReduce was not a lot, I would say, efficient. It was not doing things in memory. So we have something which come into the picture, that is Spark. Very easy way. Let's now include analogy the way I explained. You have a very big puzzle, right? We have a very, very big puzzle, like maybe let's say as big as your room. To solve it yourself, it is going to take a lot of time, right? But what you can do, you can maybe call up your friends and hopefully, let's say we have friends, okay? And then you can basically ask them to solve some part of your puzzle or maybe help you in that. And of course, if that happens, right, then we will be able to do distributed processing. Okay, let's say you have some parts. Let's say your puzzle is something like that. It is divided. Okay, so that there is a top part, there is a bottom part, some right part, left part in 4 quadrants, and you just call 4 of your friends or 8 of your friends and say that, hey, can you please do this? Okay, so this is the basic idea behind Spark. Again, very basic. That it helps you to do distributed computing. Okay, so it is actually made to handle huge amount of data, right? That is why Databricks is used a lot now. And Spark was made, it was made open source, then Apache basically took over it, Apache Spark, right? Now the people who made Spark, they created this Databricks. And what they say is that we are now going to provide you a full system. And you can actually go to Databricks website. the whole UI, which you are going to see now, is going to be the same. They made internal optimization as well in Spark, and optimization plays a very, very big role in Spark. So again, I will, if required, let me know in the comments. I will make sure to take a full-fledged class on that as well, where we discuss, right? And that's going to be another long class, like I think easily 8-9 hours. But yes, Spark as a standalone tool first has to be understood. Okay, that helps you to do this overall, I would say, processing on your big data. Okay, it breaks your problem. Make sure that when the data is stored in different places, it is basically able to work on that. So that's the basic about Sparks. Databricks came into picture. Why? Because the creator of Spark created this platform. They provided you optimization and a total single way where you can work on many things. So it is actually a platform where you can work and build your data pipelines. Now it is again here Azure Databricks is combining Spark with Azure, right? And it is Spark powered, integrated with Azure. It's handled big data pretty easily. And it is very great for machine learning use cases as well. Something which I'm pretty sure that you must know that now companies are doing a lot. Along with that, it makes collaboration a lot easy, right? Many things are very easy here, like asking for the compute resources, all these things. They have been made a lot easy, right? So yeah, let us move forward with that. I'm pretty sure you must have understood the same. And let me show you the next step as well. So what exactly are we going to do in the workflow? Okay, great. So again, and this was a basic idea behind Spark and Hadoop. So just to remember, Spark, let's say, is your say Windows. Okay. Then Databricks, because Microsoft made one, or let's say people from Microsoft made another operating system which is a lot optimized. Okay, that is the easiest way to think about this. We all have used Windows and grown up using that only, right? So always remember that thing. Let me have some water. Great. So now let us go to resource everyone. And I have to explain you a few things here as well. We have to launch the workspace. So let me launch it. And you will see a very similar kind of a thing like in Microsoft. So see, this is different. Sorry, my bad. This is different. Otherwise, you must see a box like this, right? Which was there in Office products and well. But Databricks, now someone else is using that. Okay. Great. So now let us see what exactly we or what all we have in Databricks. We have workspace, we have recents, catalog, workflow, many things here. Okay, so different jobs which will be running. Catalog, I think, will be different offerings which Databricks have. Let it load. Yeah. Okay, we're not able to see anything here. Should be fine. Then we have recents, workspaces. We have SQL editor, all these things, and they change their UI a lot, right? So should be fine. Main thing which we have to focus on first is compute. Okay. Okay, and we have to create a compute. Great. So what is a compute? Compute is actually the hardware which you are going to now ask Azure to give to you. Okay. So you have to give this cost to Azure here, right? Let me make it my, let's say, first compute. It's a unrestricted personal compute, shared, all these things. As I said, you can share it as well because in a company, you will of course be sharing it. So let's give it unrestricted. Now, multi-node and single node, again, the very basics of your big data. If you want to process your data in a single node cluster or a multi-node cluster, right? We all have, let me know. I will create a video on that as well if you have no idea what I'm talking. But just as a very basic thing and how I understand that, let's say you have to download a 15 or 150 GB game. Okay, hopefully there are games which are 150 GB. No, I have not played games since long. Now, if you will do that alone, it's going to take you a lot of time, right? That's a single node. You have a just single node cluster, single node, single computer. But again, let's hope we have friends. And if you call your friends up and let's say each and every one of them, let's say you have maybe 5 friends this time. If all of you download 30 GB at respective home, like not a same bandwidth, okay, you will be able to do that quickly. So what you have done, you have distributed your workload. So storage is also distributed, like they will be saving at their end, right? Let's say you have less storage as well. Okay. Now you can work and combine them and then work on that. Like first make sure that you extract, then combine everything and play your game, right? So that's the basic idea behind the distributed computing and storage. So single user, no sharing, Mayank Agarwal. Runtime. So when we ask for machines, so see here are the machines. Okay. So this account may not have enough CPU cores to satisfy estimated available requested 36. Okay, so it's saying that I have just 4 cores because it's free one. So okay, I think then we will have to shift to Should be fine. We have to shift to a single node one, but I hope you get the idea. And one more thing, it's exactly the same, just like here, hardware is provided by Azure. Oh, sorry for that. In Databricks, you will also be seeing machines like these only. Okay. In our free plan, we don't have this access. Like it's saying that you can available are 4. Okay, CPU quota something will be there. I know that it was 8 or 12, I think, in the free trial also, but maybe time to time they change it. And the when you code, okay, you don't have to change your code. Spark, the way it is written in the backend, because you're using Spark, it's going to handle each and everything itself. Okay, so it's not that you have to change your code if you are, let's say, writing it for a single node or a multi-node cluster. Few things might be there, but your logic and everything is going to be same only. Okay, maybe let's say if you want to specifically go to a machine and all these things, like, and that also depends a lot on type of cluster you are working on. But yes, for you as an end user, you don't have to worry. So for example, for me as an end user, or if let's say my brother has to play the game which I was talking about, the 150 GB one, for him nothing has changed. He is just playing it, right? He doesn't care like how I got it to play, I have to call my friends or anything up. No, he's just playing it. So in a single way, I'm going to shift to single node here. Okay, yes, let us confirm. Yeah, single user. And now I'm just saying that in a single machine, I will be doing that. Okay. And our data, though big, it's manageable on a single machine as well. This is the runtime version, data time runtime, Databricks runtime. So I think it's Ubuntu only, right? It's Ubuntu. Let us select, maybe we can select any one of them. The Spark version should be latest one. So 14.3 LTS. LTS is long-term support. Okay, let me just show you that. So they have a overall long support with respect to your things. So if you go on Ubuntu and if I see versions, so if you have the hardware, you will of course be requiring the software as well. And this whole compute, it's going to actually take that much time. Okay, I think it was Ubuntu, but yeah, should be fine. Ubuntu is a has been okay. I think I used 14 when I installed it on my PC, but yeah, should be fine. Okay, no worries. So runtime is this LTS. See, there for ML, there are different one. Okay, you will see that GPU is also provided, like GPU support and everything. We want the standard one only. Photon acceleration, we can read what is it for the modern Apache Spark workload, reducing total cost per workload. Okay, let's have that. We are anyway on the trial. Now here you will see standard. So we can have actually the standard machine only. Okay, standard T4DS. You can again learn more about the Delta cache, accelerated, all these things. Okay, but I think this one works fine. 16 GB memory, 16 GB RAM, and 4 cores. Okay, and one more thing, terminate after. So see, you are going to now pay. It's not like your machine which you can just buy and you can be done with it. No, as I told you, the data centers, these machines are in a way rented. Okay, so you have to pay the rent as much for the time you're using it. Now let's say there's a power cut or something happens, or normally like you just wrote the code and you got a call, then your machines will keep on running for this particular time. So what we can do is we can mention it 10, I think, is the lowest, that I'm sure. Yes, 10 to 43200 minutes. So 43200 minutes are 4 weeks and 2 days. Okay. 30 days. Yeah, makes sense. 30 days. Okay. So let us make it 20 for the time beings. So you can just keep it 20 minutes or 30 days. That is on you. For your production level use case, maybe when you are like the company is handling all these things, maybe you will do that. As a developer, majorly you will not be doing these things. Like this is all something which the maybe the operation part handles, and all this DevOps part, or maybe the admin or management will be handling. Like someone is there who set it up. But again, I feel that if you are even going to the like startup level, like let's say a minimum level startup, I want that all of my students, they should be aware of these things, right? They should not be like that. Okay, someone will be giving us to that. No, that is not the case. Okay. Okay, no advanced option, nothing as such, and we are good to create a compute. So now it's going to find this machine for me. Okay, you can see the logs as well. It's going to find this machine, install Spark, uh, Linux, that whatever, I think it was Ubuntu only, but anyways, okay, it's going to do that all for me. So it's going to take a little time, should be fine. Let us meanwhile go to our notebook because I have to explain you a few more things. Okay. See, Azure Databricks Workflow. So exactly what we are going to do here, let me show you here as well. See, everyone. So we have this data, the raw data we have here. Again, we have worked a lot nicely to get the data in this location. We will be using in Azure Databricks and will be storing it back. Okay. Meanwhile, we will also be getting this to MongoDB. Okay. So we are going to set that up. Don't worry on that. Right. Let us actually maybe do that quickly. So this is the collab. Okay. Let us connect. So see, this also get terminated because this is free one. You can, I think, take free paid one here as well. So the idea is same only. Now that is where the overall idea about cloud computing helps you a lot. So now I have the RAM and disk here. Let me have the code. Okay, now what we can do, we can go back. We can have, okay, session has been renewed. Let's go to MongoDB. Code, done. And copy this. So we will just try that we are able to make the connection first, and files.io being so good, it gives us all the code. Let it run. I think it will fail. Tell me in the comments if you understand why it's failing. Okay, the error is there. Okay, so pip install by Mongo. Right, everyone? Let me install it. So again, the library is not there by default, right? We just asked for a basic version where like basic this thing. Why will it install by Mongo here? We will have to do that, right? What if I don't use it ever? So that way, Google just imports or installs some basic libraries which we can use. Great. Now it should run, hopefully. And we are able to get this data, right? So now let us go back to our this thing, the data. And I will share all these code with you so you don't have to worry. This is something which I want to get, right? So maybe I can download it for the time being. Okay, I have downloaded. Let me keep it here. Let me just close this. Let me go back. And now I'm going to upload it. Now, if you remember the data we uploaded earlier that is deleted, the reason is same. It gave us a warning at that time also that please make sure that your data you are like storing somewhere. Okay, because it gets deleted. Okay, great. So now what I have to do, maybe let's use AI. Let's see how good AI is. Okay. No, I don't want to do that easy thing. Read the product category CSV and create a collection and upload it to above MongoDB. Yeah, I think that is all. MongoDB has Mongo database. Okay, let's see how smart this is. If it will be able to read everything from above. I could have written the code and use even ChatGPT. Okay, seems like it is fine. It is able to get the context. So see now what it has done. And the good thing is that it's showing you the prompt. Let's see how our computation is doing. So yeah, it has also been created. Cluster is running there as well. Okay. So product category DF, it is trying to read it because it is present here, else it will give an error. So error handling is handled here. Okay, again, these are the one thing. Many people say that coding is dead and English is going to, yeah, that's fine, but still, you have to understand what exactly this is, right? If let's say I face any other error, it will not be cached. Why I know that? Because I know error handling in depth. So what I feel personally is that now it is more difficult because chat GPT or any AI is going to give you the code and you should be aware of each and everything in that concepts, right? I cannot be like, because see, it's not going to understand that what I know or what I don't know. Okay. So just a basic gap, but yeah, these are all the things. Hopefully it will be fine. We were able to connect, right? Okay. So here we were not sending anything, should be fine. Now this is the URI. It is establishing a connection. It is saying that, okay, it is saying DB client database. So we have the client here. Okay, this is all the way to just locate your database. And because it's all on the server, the best thing which you can actually do, don't know local nothing, right? Then collection DB, choose a suitable name. Let's say, okay, it is product categories only. Data to insert product categories DF to dictionary, orient records. So this is again just introducing all the records and we are inserting many. So this is the data to insert. Changing it to dictionary here as a records. If error occurred, it shows that. And finally, the connection is going to close. seems like a good enough code to do the thing. Let us run this. It seems like it's inserted, and yeah, it says, and pretty quick it was because the data is pretty easy to handle. Okay, let me close this. So let me show you, like for people who are not able to understand what we just did. Just like we installed and basically sent our data to our SQL table, we are sending this data to MongoDB. Why am I doing this? Because most of the projects, right, you have to do this kind of enrichment. If I give you an example, when I used to work in Goldman and actually used to make these pipelines or work on the data, many times what used to happen is that the data was like there was a lots of amounts which were in currency, right? Now in the enrichment part, we need to get the current dollar rate and change the same thing to multiple other currencies, right? So this is just one example here. If I show you this data, let me go here and let me clear all this. See, it is just a very small data, right? It is not a lot, 71 entries. It is just product category name and product category name English. So it is just changing that. Movest. And my aim here is not to, maybe we can use this data, maybe not. We are going to read it and get into our Databricks. That is the main aim. So you can use it tomorrow. And in a similar way, you can have this data like now coming from a SQL as well, right? So I hope you get the basic idea here. Now, tomorrow, if someone asks that, hey, can you get the data from SQL? Yes, we can. Okay. If we can get from MongoDB in this architecture, then SQL also works. So that is the basic idea why I have made this a little bit complicated. Okay. And honestly, the level of complication we have achieved in this, it will maybe try to just reduce it a little bit going forward, because I understand not all the complication can be handled in a single, let's say project. So few things, like let's say I will just get a single data set here, but I will make sure that you understand everything and you get the idea so that you can work on multiple data set as well. But again, this is not simple, right? It is just that instead of 5 files, I'm doing 1 file. But yes, because we will understand how to do it for 1 file, we will do it for 5 files as well. Okay, great. So this is done. Let us check this if the data is there. Web client. It will be there. Hopefully, we know that here should get the good part code here. And see product categories. We have this data, right, everyone? This is the ID through which I can directly get it. Product category name English. Now, one could have used the main MongoDB here as well. What I meant by that, MongoDB. Okay. But I feel this one is better, honestly, because we are using a third party one, the way it will be in companies. You can have it here as well. So if you're not aware about anything, you can go here. It also provides you a free tier, if you will see. Serverless. Okay. Like there is a free tier, I know that. Okay. Should be fine. For sure it is there, but anyways, you can find that quickly. So you can have your MongoDB database here as well. It will again have these kind of things. Again, it will be changed. Like here, I'm getting it based on the name and everything. So becoming it is just sending all these things. But yeah, I hope you get this thing. Like again, the email can be on Gmail or Ymail or Outlook or any other website, and it will be having a password. Similar way, this is where your things get cleared. Okay. Great, great. So let us move here, and I have to explain you now what we are going to do. See, this is the workflow which we are going to follow. Read data from ADLS Gen2. Okay. Perform basic transformation like cleaning, renaming, and filtering. So few of basic transformation we are going to do. Use join operation to integrate multiple data sets. So we have these 8 data sets in total, 8 plus 1, 9. Right. So we will try to join few of them. If you remember in the data modeling, we have the order ID, which was common, customer ID, which was common in some. Enrich the data via MongoDB. So we are going to read the MongoDB data. Okay, make that connection here. And something I want to show you there as well. That's why I have specifically included this part. Again, not keeping it very straightforward, as you will find on other tutorials that directly they will be just having a CSV and using that. Perform aggregation and derive insights. So little bit aggregation and insights, though that part majorly we will be doing, like we will not be doing that, but yes, that we will expose the data. See, it's the role of data science guy or data analytics guy. So we have to create a serving layer for that. Okay. Write final data back to ADLS Gen2. Makes sense? This data which we have, we will map it back to ADLS Gen2. Great. So let us move forward and let me explain you one more thing, actually, very important thing here to explain. Let me have few stickers. See, what is happening here is that because your 1 minute, this is your ADLS Gen2, right? As your data lake storage. And somewhere here is, let's say, your Databricks. So what was the Databricks icon? Something like this. Pardon my drawing. I don't want to now get this thing via internet. Okay. Okay. Seems workable, right? Now to make this correction, right? Because this is a Azure service, and majorly as a overall, I would say, feature where we want to control that who is accessing our data and everything. We have to make sure that we are specifying that, hey, Databricks, as I told you, it's a outside service, right? So we have to make sure that we set up few things so that we have a password or the permission, or rather permission is a better word, permission in Databricks to access that particular data. Okay. So we should have permission in Databricks to access that data. It should not be like anyone can access my data, right? If you just see this thing, I have that data. Now, why cannot you access it? Because there will be permissions and some things involved, which I want to make sure that I explain you. So let us go back. Let us now create a notebook here. Okay. You will find many things: query, dashboard, Genie space, job, DLT pipelines, of course. It is like take Delta Lake, sorry. Okay. And majorly we will be doing here only what we have to do. Okay. First, we can just do for Spark to run it. Okay. No, I don't want notification. Automatically connected to the most recent. So it is saying that, hey, I have connected to this compute. Okay. So this is the software and hardware is the compute, right? And it is showing me that Spark version is this, local database shell, all these things. Okay. Now, see, yeah, so there are multiple things here as well. We can actually upload the data. I think if I go here, create import. So we can create folders and all these things. We can import the data here as well. But I don't want to do that. Again, that will be a lot easy. That is something which, uh, again, should not be done. That is fine. So let me show you how exactly we have to. So what I have to do, Azure Databricks to Azure Data Lake Gen2. And we will find a tutorial. Okay. It is going to have some code. See, create a Microsoft Entra ID service principal. I'm going to show you. Don't worry. Everything we are going to discuss. Client secret for your service profile. Okay. Then all these things we have to use. So some things are there. Grant the service principal access to Azure. So you can read this. What I can do is, let me copy this. This was the file, right? Right. And finally, there is some code in the end, which they are giving. So it's a multi-step process, right? Again, you'll be doing less of it in a proper job, but you should be aware. Let's copy that. And I actually see, we are going to do it properly, right? But to explain it properly, I would like to first explain you all about Spark. So, oh, sorry, Azure. So let me know if that is something. I can create a video on that as well. So where we will be covering everything about Azure from starting to end. So you understand that how Azure basically works in the principle. Okay, great. Let me add a code and let me add this code. So see, here there are multiple things which it is asking, right? And what are all these things? It is asking for your storage account. It is asking for your application ID. It is asking for your service credential and directory ID. So few things are there which it is asking. Okay. Let us go to our Azure and do that. Majorly these are the steps which we are going to do. Okay. So these are the steps. We have to do an app registration. It's not like I am doing it all by my mind. No, it's just that I've done it multiple times. So I'm aware that what we have to do. There is actually one more way to do it, but that is not that straightforward. See, the idea is that this storage account and this Databricks, we have to make a connection. This DB though is on our cloud and we have given that, okay, everyone can access it, right? It is not, I think it cannot be controlled, but we have that thing that yes, anyone can access it. If I remember it right, it's available and we cannot restrict it as well. Okay, so standard VS dedicated. So anyways, should be fine. So to make this connection, we need some key or some permission here so that Databricks can be like that, hey, I am not an imposter. I know that I can access this. Someone is trying to use me. Please let me do it. Okay. So what we can do, okay, we have to search app registrations here. App registration. Okay. And we have to do a new registration. So I don't have any key here. New registration. Okay. Okay. Let us name it. What is the name? No, Olist app registration for Databricks to ADLS. So just I like to name it in a way that it is a lot clear. Okay, nothing here. We have to register it. Great. Now you will see many things we are getting here. Okay, so we are able to get our client ID, object ID, directory. So I think we needed application ID and tenant ID. These are the two things we need. Okay. And if I go on this certificates and secret, what I can do is I can have this certificate and secret and make a new client secret. Okay. So let's say Databricks client. And now many people will be not be able to understand what exactly is happening here. Do it as I say. Don't worry on things. I will come up with a video to explain how Azure basically works for these things. But for the timing, this is not the major things which we are working, right? This is just a part in our project. And I want to have these things, these open-ended things, so that you explore that yourself. You wait for my next video, and overall you get an idea that, okay, how the things happen in industry. If I have to just show you how Databricks work, I can just upload all these CSVs. But again, I'm not going to do that. Okay. And let's add it. And we got this value as well. So this value is something which we have to use here. Okay. This is the value which we have to use. So we are going to copy everything. So that seems fine. What we can do, overview. Okay. Let us copy it somewhere. Or maybe what I can do, I'm going to do one thing. Let's make a change here. So here also, I think we have an AI, right? Yeah. Let me just delete this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just say that change the below code to have storage account and other key or ID as a variable outside. So instead of entering this every place, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to provide it above, just like we did it here. See, just like we did it here now. So instead of entering, I'm going to just use that. It's normally better. See what it has done. Let me close this. And this was our code. Earlier, I have to enter storage account at these 5 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, an application ID here, service credential here, and directory ID here. Now I have just said that, hey, please get these things out. And I will just enter it here. And Azure is going to, this code is going to get handled by everything. I won't have to do it repeatedly. So good practices powered by the help of AI. Why am I using AI here? Well, I know this format. Nothing. This is F-string format. I have a video, proper dedicated video on that as well on my channel. But I want to show you where AI can be helpful and how you have to use it smartly. Great. So application ID. Let us get this. Okay, so let me get here and enter here. Okay, then directory ID again. Don't use mine. I will be deleting it as soon as the project gets completed. So you will anyway not be able to use it. Directory ID, right? Then we have the secret. So I created a certification and secrets. This is the secrets. It expires after 6 months. Pretty sure we should be able to do this project in 6 months. So please make sure that you do it. And anyway, like your Azure account will be not present till then, right? Like free one. And now storage account is left. So we can go to app home. Home. Yeah, this was our storage account, right? We can go here. So this is the name of your storage account. Okay, seems like we have entered everything. Just one more thing is required here. So I'm telling you what exactly that is. Okay. So this is your thing. And what I was saying was that we can use one more thing to mention to access the data. Actually, when you go to the security networking and you go to access keys, you find this key here as well. Now we can actually use this as well to directly access the data, but that is not the preferred way. Like this is just one of the way which you can use to test it out. These keys are there, but normally it's better if you just follow the current way we are doing this. Okay, let's go to overview. Now overview, this is the, we have to go to containers here, data storage containers and Olist data, right? See, so this is inside where we am. Now I have to go to access control because till now we have not joined or said that, hey, Databricks is someone who are going to use who is going to use this particular data lake storage. Okay, so we have to create a new access, add role assignment. So this just I'm saying that, hey, okay, I know that Databricks is going to use me in future. So please let it use. So I'm going to add an assignment for that. Blob storage account contributor. So this is the role which you have to select. Okay, you can click next here. User group, no, it's a managed identity and we can select the members. So subscription free trial, manage identity, Spark. No, sorry, Databricks. I think was the one access controller for. Okay, 1 minute. Let me quickly check what exactly is there which we have to use. Olist ecom data factory. Okay, so actually, yeah, my bad. So it's we are not going to use manage identity. We have created. So let me close this. We have to actually use this user group or service principal. Here, when we go, we created that, right? So it is just me. And along with that, if I just duplicate this tab, right, I have to use the app registration, right, which we did. So 1 minute app and this storage account blob contributor that helps you to basically make sure this thing 1 minute. Yeah, you get the read and write both accesses, right? App registrations. Okay, we created one, right? Where is it? Applications. I think it was ecom key. Okay, I forget that name. Yeah, this was the one. Right, let us go back, search this and see Olist app registration. So what we are saying is that, hey, data storage or data lake or the storage account, if anyone comes to you with this particular information, like if someone has these secret application ID, directory ID, please access them, who please allow them to access the data. Then we can just move forward, review and assign. Yeah, I think this is all we have to do. Olist app registration. Yeah, this was the one. And we can review and assign. So it's adding a role assignment. Now let us go back into our code. Let us run this. Okay, so it has said that, okay, I am. So see, what we are doing is we are like setting all these in the Spark conference, right? So all these sorry, Spark, not conference configurations, we are doing that. Now we should be good to read our data, right? So the data which we had, so once now we have done all these things, right? Now we are good to read our data, but there's a caveat. Let me explain that. So now actually we can read the data. Let us try for that. The problem which is going to be is that this permission, it takes a little bit time to sync, right? So it's going to take you around 15 to 20 minutes. Sometime it takes that. Okay. So I have wasted my time. That's what I'm saying. So see, yeah. Okay. So it is giving me one thing which is to fulfill this, right? Let us try to understand what it's trying to give. Okay. So see, this ABFS is Azure Block File System Storage, if I remember the definition right. And then it's saying it's asking for an email here. Okay. So now see, I know that my file is stored in Azure blob, right? Blob. Okay. If I go back, let me refresh it. I think we have entered that, right? This data storage. If I'm going to access control, we have one right here. Okay, we did add that, right? Okay. Okay, was it another way? No. Let me add it again. Azure blob contributor. Next. Select members. this is the one which we have to do. Select, next, next, review and assign. Okay. I think it is taking that time. Maybe I hope that it's not the case, but yes, anyways, if we add it again, I don't think it's going to be a problem. So let's go back to home, storage account. Okay. Then what we have to do. So see, we know that it is in Azure block storage. Now this is a actually file system. So we have to not tell exactly, right? So ABFS, S Azure block storage file system. Okay. I can actually do one more thing as well. If I just ask this AI, okay, give me a code to read a ADLS Gen2 blob as a CSV using Spark. Okay, data frame. So see what's going to happen here. Let's see what code it gives. See, ABFSS, that's the file location, then container name, then storage account, and then path to CSV. Okay, so this is how we can actually reach out to our overall file. Now again, initially it might seem that, okay, what exactly is happening here, but that is just the location of your path, right? Nothing else. Okay, so maybe I can copy this. I can just paste it here. So what we are saying is format CSV, option header is equals to true. Yes, the first line is header. There is one more option. So we can just do option infer schema. Okay. We can just set it as true as well. Infer schema, right? True. Yeah. And see, now it is asking me for two things. Storage account we have anyway given so that it can be picked up. Container we have to give. Now, what was the container, everyone? If we go back here, if we go to containers, Olist data is the name of my container. So Olist data. Okay. Olist data path to CSV. So inside this Olist data now, I have this bronze and so see Olist data. This is where we have reached. So we have reached to our container using this. And now we can go to bronze and let's say we try to read this one. Yeah. So I think we don't have this, but yeah, anyway, this is the name. Okay. And let me answer this and let me try to read this. So it is still connected and it's giving an error, right? Okay, let me just see. I hope it is not because of this. Not very good with syntax. Yeah, it is saying some problem, invalid URI. Okay. Talk. Yeah. So yeah, I think we will have to wait for this for the timing so that it syncs up, right? So for that, we will let's wait for some second and we will get back once the permission is there, right, everyone? So till now, I hope you have understood each and everything. Now I know this overall part to understand that how we are getting this connection and all that part might be a little bit tricky. But again, that's how this permission and Azure like Azure basically works. And these are like in AWS, we have the client key and all these things, right? We have the roles, all these parts. So in cloud, we have to make sure that we handle these things. So now once this permission gets synced up, we are going to use in all these parts and make sure that we are all like now enhancing our project a lot more. So till now we have reached till here. We are going to read through MongoDB. I'm going to show you how we can read that MongoDB database as well, and then show the transform data, then synapse, and then visualization. Okay, so let's wait it for sync, and then we are going to start with this, start working on our data. Okay. Okay, so let me quickly check. Okay, we have made a mistake here as well. Olist data is the container, and storage account is this, right? Cool. So everything else seems to be fine. And now let's try to run this code and hope it works. And the permission are synced as well. Okay, so yeah, we are able to read this code, everyone, and that's a very good way. Now, again, it might seem a little bit difficult that what exactly is happening at this part, right? What this permission, and these are actually the same in AWS, GCP. Like there are some protocols or some way you have to get this data into different services, right? We are going to do that for other services as well. But the basic idea is that to understand now, again, I will be making sure that I create the content for explaining each and everything in Azure and other clouds. That is not a problem. But please be comfortable that what exactly are we trying to do. Now, I could have easily uploaded that. As I said, that would not have been fun. Right now, we are going to read all these data sets one by one. Okay. And yeah, we are going to then work on this data. Along with that, we will also see that how we can work on our table enrichment via MongoDB, something which we created into our files.io, right? So cool, everyone. Now let's start with this and let's go back to our, yeah. So let me also name the notebook Databricks Awesome Code for Transformation. Great file name, always will remember because we are writing awesome great code here. Okay. Hello everyone. So first of all, a lot of congrats because we have come this far in our project. Now I am pretty sure that you must be able to understand things which we have discussed. If anyone has any doubts, please make sure that you ask the same in the comment with the timestamp and I will clear them out. Along with that, please make sure that you like this video and share it with all your friends and do hit that subscribe button so YouTube knows that you are liking this video. Of course, it takes a lot of effort to create these end-to-end projects. And I'm pretty sure that all the students are going to complete the part 2 of this project as well. And do let me know if there is any other topic in which you face issues, and I will bring the videos to explain you that. With that, now let's meet in the next video where we are going to write this awesome code on Databricks and then finally see how we can use Azure Synapse to serve the layer and complete our work as a data engineer. So let's meet in the next video. Thank you.